Chapter 32. Time flew by quickly. Su Fang was completely immersed in cultivation inside the time formation. He had already forgotten about the passage of time. To be more precise, time had lost its meaning to cultivators at his level. Compared to the lifespan of a Tao ancestor expert, which was measured in epochs, Su Fang's age and cultivation time were extremely short. Until this day. Su Fang suddenly sensed something and opened his eyes. It's time to enter the Luai's original realm again. The life force in Su Fang's body surged, and the vicissitudes of time that enveloped him receded. He returned to his peak state when he was 18 years old. He flew out of the formation. The Qi Tian avatar condensed his thoughts and created another avatar to take charge of the Qi Tian Divine Palace's formation. However, he then sucked the Qi Tian avatar into the palace. This time, Su Fang had to go all out to enter the Luai's original realm. Therefore, he had to bring the Qi Tian avatar with him. Yes. A single avatar could maintain the Qi Tian Divine Palace for tens of thousands of years. He could also control the entire Qi Tian Divine Palace at any time. He left the cave abode. After scanning everyone in the Qi Tian Divine Palace, Su Fang transmitted his divine will to Holy Sovereign Xie. Holy Sovereign Xie, I'm going to enter the Luai's original realm. The Qi Tian Divine Palace will be temporarily closed. I'll leave everything to you. Holy Sovereign Zhu quickly replied, Don't worry. Leave everything to me. There won't be any mishaps. Su Fang snorted coldly. If there's any mishap, I won't let you off easily. Holy Sovereign Xie replied embarrassedly, I promise you that if there's any mishap, I'll leave my life in your hands. Strange. Why does your divine will make me tremble in fear? I have no choice but to submit to your will. It seems that your strength has increased greatly after so many years of seclusion. Su Fang was not the only one whose strength had increased greatly after so many years of seclusion. Furthermore, Su Fang had severed the good court. His Tao heart was on the verge of the immortal realm. His will was naturally not something a Daozu of Holy Sovereign Xie level could withstand. Su Fang had ways to control Holy Sovereign Xie. He was not afraid that Holy Sovereign Xie would lose control after he left. Then, Su Fang waved his hand and grabbed at the air. An independent spacetime within the Imperial Heaven Divine Palace, together with the entire barrier, was pulled into the Tao Palace and moved into the Heaven's Path avatar. In the independent spacetime that Su Fang took away, there lived low-level life forms that came from the Pansong universe and his heavenly way Dharma body. Su Fang was planning to send them directly to the Luai's original realm. If something really happened to Su Fang, the human race would not be completely wiped out. They could continue to reproduce in the Luai's original realm. Also perhaps one day, a powerful expert would be born, leaving the Luai's original realm and returning to the primal chaos. After doing all this, Su Fang's figure flashed and entered the void, disappearing without a trace from the Imperial Heaven Divine Palace. Whoosh Su then. He appeared outside the Imperial Heaven Divine Palace. East Xian Daozu and the other human Daozu had been waiting outside the Royal Divine Palace for a long time. East Xian Daozu nodded and said, Su Fang, are you going to the Luai's original realm now? Yes, Master. Su Fang cupped his fists politely at Dongxian Daozu. You have a heavy responsibility on your journey to the Luai's original realm. You must be careful, Dongxian Daozu reminded. Many human Daozu looked at Su Fang with solemn eyes. Su Fang understands. I will not let you down this trip to the Luai's original realm. Su Fang cupped his fists at the many Daozu. Just as he was about to leave, Su Fang suddenly raised his eyebrows. Whoosh! Whoosh! An old man in luxurious clothes and exuding an aura of wealth broke through the air. This person was also a Daozu and secretly controlled the Chamber of Commerce. He was also a powerful figure in the human world. Daozu from the Chamber of Commerce cupped his fists at Su Fang and said, Su Fang has a gift for your trip to the Luai's original realm. Then, a Xian Guang appeared. The Xian Guang landed 1,000 miles away and transformed into a small star. It was the Chamber of Commerce's unique treasure, the Big Dipper Heaven's Eye. Only dazzling starlight bloomed from the star and condensed into a light screen that was 1,000 feet wide. In the light screen, countless cultivators floated in the air. They were so densely packed that it was difficult to count their numbers. They ranged from the lowest Dao True Realm cultivators to the Dao Saint Expert. Look, based on their attire, these cultivators should be from the Hong Tian Divine Realm. Farewell, Su Fangda. With the Dao Saint Expert leading the way, countless cultivators in the light screen knelt and kowtowed to Su Fang. Then, the light screen changed again. Same as countless cultivators, but they were no longer from the Hong Tian Divine Realm. They were from the Qitian Divine Realm. Their faces were filled with gratitude and respect as they kowtowed to Su Fang. However, the light screen continued to change. Apart from Nanxian, cultivators from the other 8 divine realms, from the Dao Saints to the Dao True Realm, bowed to Su Fang. His heart began to beat faster. He looked at the Daozu and asked, "What is the meaning of this?" The Daozu replied, "When you killed the Hong Tian Daozu and the Qitian Daozu, many people criticized you. Over the years, Lord Daozu has spread the news, and I have also contributed a little. The cultivators of the human world now know the truth and feel guilty towards you. This time, you have entered the Thunderlock Origin Realm for the future of the human race. The human race has no way of repaying you, so we can only wish you success in advance. Regardless of whether the Su Fangda succeeds or fails, the human race will forever remember it." Fang fell silent for a moment. Then, he cupped his fists at the light screen and stepped into the void, vanishing from everyone's sight without a trace. While Su Fang was preparing to head to the Thunderlock Origin Realm and wait for the Heavenly Gate to appear, Zhou Nua was also preparing to enter the Thunderlock Origin Realm. Zhou Nua sat cross-legged on the same altar as before. Hundreds of thousands of Tensei people stood respectfully in the air around him. Here Zhou Nua's cultivation had risen to the peak of the upper Dao Saint realm. He was only one step away from the Daozu. Zhou Nua's indifferent gaze shot out from the altar. Sharp and cold killing intent flashed in his eyes. Fang. Compared to the last time, there were fewer Daozu and Zhou Nua's father among the cultivators who came to see Zhou Nua. Those people were all shackled by the Su Fang and naturally couldn't come to see Zhou Nua. Zhou Nua. A divine light flashed out and transformed into the figure of the 7th forefather of the Tensei people. Zhou Nua hurriedly knelt. "Greetings, 7th forefather." The 7th forefather's divine light swept over Zhou Nua. He nodded and said, "It seems that you are ready. Your years of bitter cultivation haven't been in vain. It shouldn't be difficult for you to successfully pass the Thunderlock Origin Realm's 3rd heaven test." Zhou Nua said confidently, "This disciple is completely confident. However, merely passing the 3rd heaven test is far from enough." The 7th forefather's voice suddenly turned cold. Zhou Nua was startled. "7th forefather, are you referring to the Su Fang?" "That's right. If this person hadn't competed with you, with the Tensei people's resources and your talent, passing the Thunderlock Origin Realm's ultimate test wouldn't have been difficult. However, with the addition of this human cultivator, your chances of obtaining the Thunderlock Origin Realm have become extremely slim." Zhou Nua was rather dissatisfied with the 7th forefather's words. The 7th forefather of the Tensei people saw through Zhou Nua's thoughts. "I didn't tell you before because I was worried that it would interfere with your cultivation. I personally asked the Origin Progenitor of Reincarnation to send his subordinate, the Terra Progenitor, to the human world. Who would have thought that he would fail on the verge of success? Even the Terra Progenitor was killed by Su Fang. Su Fang killed the Terra Progenitor." Zhou Nua's divine light changed instantly. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The seventh forefather said indifferently. Furthermore, when the origin progenitor of reincarnation was about to kill Su Fang, the Thunder Lock origin realm appeared. The realm spirit appeared and used the eternal laws to stop the origin progenitor of reincarnation. From this, it can be seen that Su Fang's previous performance has already gained the realm spirit's approval. If you can't surpass Su Fang in the Thunder Lock origin realm, you will be killed by the realm spirit sooner or later. Zhou Nuo suddenly felt a heavy pressure. He gritted his teeth and said, "This disciple understands." "It's good that you understand." The seventh forefather nodded. His figure once again turned into a divine light and escaped into the void. "Su Fang, you lowly human ant. You shackled my father and the experts under him. You even want to take away the Thunder Lock origin realm that belongs to me. Don't even think about it." Zhou Nuo's eyes flashed with terrifying hatred and anger. His handsome face looked ferocious and terrifying. He waited for more than 10 years. The heavenly gate of the Thunder Lock origin realm appeared. Zhou Nuo stepped through the gate with a heart full of killing intent and entered the Thunder Lock origin realm. Su Fang was 1,000 years later than Zhou Nuo. After entering the Thunder Lock origin realm, he directly appeared on the 4th lotus platform of the 9 lotus ascension. The realm spirit's voice sounded, "Human Su Fang, it seems that you have gained a lot over the years. Your strength has improved a lot compared to before." Su Fang said, "This is also thanks to Lord Realm Spirit's guidance." The Realm Spirit said, "I only gave you some guidance within the bounds of the rules. Your improvement is due to your own efforts. However, although your strength has improved a lot, it will still be difficult for you to pass the 4th heavens test." "The 4th heavens test is so difficult?" Su Fang's heart sank. He originally planned to enter the Thunder Lock origin realm this time, not only to pass the 4th heaven but also to pass more tests. He didn't expect the realm spirit to estimate that it would be difficult for him to pass the 4th heaven. This surprised Su Fang. The realm spirit continued, "The 4th heavens test is the most difficult. The following 5 heavens are dangerous, but not as difficult as the 4th heaven. As long as you pass the 4th heavens test, the subsequent tests will not only rely on strength, but also luck." "So that's how it is. My luck has always been good." Su Fang relaxed a lot. "Human cultivator, let's begin. I hope your efforts in the past 1,000,000 years have not been in vain." The realm spirit's voice fell. The space of the lotus platform immediately extended to the surroundings, turning into an independent spacetime. It was boundless and empty inside. Whoosh, a cultivator of the Reizegu people, who was 100 feet tall, flashed out of the void. Unlike the opponent Su Fang encountered on the 4th lotus platform last time, this opponent was a Daozu. Its aura was 10 times stronger than before. Chapter 32-33. This time, it was not Su Fang, but a powerful cultivator from the Reizegu people. Judging from his aura, this cultivator from the Reizegu people was an ordinary Daozu who had yet to reach the peak. Of course, if one really treated him as an ordinary Daozu, one would definitely die a horrible death. Thunder, the Daozu race, was a powerful race that once dominated the chaos. How could a powerful cultivator from the Reizegu people be ordinary? Positive under normal circumstances, an ordinary Daozu from the Reizegu people could easily kill a powerful cultivator from the Daozu race. This was the difference between races. Due to the difference in life levels, even cultivators of the same level could have a huge difference in strength. Boom! Boom! This cultivator from the Reizegu people grabbed at Su Fang, and a bolt of thunder surged from his palm. Of course, this was not an ordinary thunder technique. It was violent, and had a destructive Tao of thunder. Boom! As soon as he heard the sound of thunder, the thunder arrived in front of Su Fang. Su Fang estimated that this powerful cultivator from the Reizegu people could easily kill a Daozu who was at the same height as Su Fang. But Su Fang was not an ordinary Daozu. Boom! With a wave of his hand, Su Fang's thoughts transformed into two streaks of profound light, one black and one red. The two streaks of profound light intertwined with each other, forming a huge yin-yang Tai Chi diagram that covered an area of 10,000 feet. It formed a powerful defense in front of Su Fang. Boom, boom, boom. The fierce thunderbolt struck the yin-yang Tai Chi diagram. The black and red Xian Guang intertwined and spun, exploding with the heavenly Tao of yin-yang. The powerful cultivator from the Reizeigu people's attack immediately sank into the yin-yang Tai Chi diagram and was broken down layer by layer. Positive it was a great abhijna created by Su Fang's Heavenly Way spell body from the principles of the Heavenly Way. It was called the yin-yang chaos diagram and was extremely similar to the yin-yang Tai technique of the Eastern mysterious Heavenly Pavilion. Go to hell. With a thought, Su Fang sent out his yin-yang Tai Chi diagram straight towards the expert from the Reizeigu people. After another series of collisions, the yin-yang Tai Chi diagram destroyed the attacks of the Reizeigu people and finally swallowed them whole. Su Fang, on the other hand, had only consumed a few thoughts. Both slain experts of the Reizeigu people turned into a vast and pure stream of primordial qi that surged into Su Fang's Holy Ji Palace. The entire Holy Ji Palace began to boil, filled with the aura of the Heavenly Way's Holy Ji Palace, making it even closer to the Heavenly Way's Holy Ji Palace. This was the benefit of the fourth trial. Whoosh! Su Fang was directly teleported to the fifth lotus platform. This time, the opponent he encountered was 10 times stronger than before, and the lightning-type divine ability he used was even more shocking. Su the square coffin Dharma body, Xianyang Dharma body, and Xianyang Dharma body worked together to unleash divine abilities that contained different truths of the Heavenly Way. Only then did they manage to kill the transformed expert from the Reizeigu people. Although the opponents on the fifth lotus platform were powerful, they did not pose much of a threat to Su Fang. However, after entering the sixth lotus platform, Su Fang finally felt immense pressure. Illusion the transformed opponent's cultivation was still at the same level as his, but the truths of the Heavenly Way were even more powerful. They contained terrifying truths that could destroy heaven and earth. Not only were their divine abilities powerful, but they were also ever-changing. The battle went on for 6 hours. Su Fang finally killed the expert from the Reizeigu people and was teleported to the seventh lotus platform. His aura was weak, and his physical body was in tatters. He was covered in wounds caused by the lightning-type power. Su Fang activated his vitality and blood energy. At the same time, he also devoured the lives of the blood pigs in the Holy Ji Palace to replenish his energy. The seventh lotus platform had depleted more than half of his energy. Fortunately, after killing the expert from the Reizeigu people, he obtained a large amount of primordial aura. This allowed the primordial aura in Su Fang's Holy Ji Palace to always be full. After merging with the pure primordial aura, Su Fang's primordial aura became even purer and more advanced. I'm afraid that the 8th stage will be even more difficult. I have to be careful. Fang Su used his primordial aura to form a robe and draped it over his body. Then, he was teleported to the 8th lotus platform. Whoosh! A giant from the Reizeigu people that was 500 feet tall appeared from the void. He was surrounded by lightning and destructive aura. This expert from the Reizeigu people was still at the same level as Su Fang, but his aura was extremely powerful. Even Su Fang felt a chill run down his spine. An expert of this height is even stronger than the expert from the Tensei people, Zhou Huan. This is only the 8th stage of the 4th heaven. How difficult will the 9th stage be? Considering the strength of this expert from the Reizeigu people, Su Fang knew that he had no choice but to go all out this time. Royal Heaven Avatar, deprive him of his innate abilities. Su Fang used the Royal Heaven Avatar's ability. From the golden Xian Guang erupted from the Royal Heaven Stone and intertwined into a rune. It descended from the head of the expert from the Reizeigu people and released a powerful will and might that could deprive a cultivator of their innate abilities. Then, the lightning around the expert from the Reizeigu people dimmed significantly. His aura was also suppressed by a third. Great return to ruins technique. Facing such a powerful expert, Su Fang did not dare to be careless. He immediately used the Great Return to Ruins technique. His thoughts and primordial energy quickly condensed into a chaotic mirror. It shot out a beam of light that slammed into the expert from the Reizeigu people. Heavenly Lightning Lake. The strength of this expert from the Reizeigu people was truly astonishing. Under the combined might of the Royal Heaven Avatar and the Great Return to Ruins technique, he let out an indistinct roar and unleashed a powerful attack. A bolt of lightning surged out from between his eyebrows. However, there was no violent thunderbolt. Instead, it transformed into wave after wave of water-like lightning that instantly filled the entire space around the lotus platform. This lightning was no longer violent. It was as gentle as water ripples. However, the lightning-type divine might contained within it was even more terrifying. The Great Return to Ruins technique tore apart the world of lightning and water. It shattered layer by layer, and finally slammed into the expert from the Reizeigu people and killed him. However, Su Fang was also drowned by the surging lightning. The all-pervasive lightning-type divine might and destructive intent seeped into his body, invaded his Tao palace, and wantonly destroyed everything. The destructive intent of the heavenly Tao even attacked his Tao heart, attempting to obliterate his Tao heart and even his soul. Splat! Splat! What a powerful lightning art! Su Fang was shocked. He circulated his primordial energy and lifeblood energy, suppressing and dissipating the lightning-type divine might that had seeped into his body. However, he then took out a green pill. It was none other than the 9-flower jade pill that the precious tree mother had given him. Swallow. After taking the pill, Su Fang felt the injuries on his body recovering at an astonishing speed. No. As expected of a supreme pill of the heavenly tree race, it possessed astonishing regenerative abilities. In just 10 odd breaths, Su Fang's injuries had already healed by half, and they were still recovering. Whoosh! Splat! This expert of the Reizeigu people transformed into primordial energy that enveloped Su Fang and seeped into Su Fang's Tao Palace. The primordial energy in the Tao Palace rapidly increased, covering more than half of the Tao Palace. Splat! More shockingly, Su Fang's Jiuquan Tao Palace exuded the aura of the supreme heavenly Tao. It was deep and vast, like a heavenly Tao of its own. Su Fang did not feel much joy in his heart after obtaining such a great benefit. He had entered the Thunder Lake original realm to raise his cultivation, but more importantly, to pass the tests and obtain the inheritance of the Reizeigu people as soon as possible. If he could not even pass the test of the fourth heaven, everything would be meaningless. It's all thanks to the precious tree mother's pill. Otherwise, it would have been even more difficult. No wonder that realm spirit said that the fourth heaven was extremely difficult. As expected, the 9th heaven is somewhat dangerous. Su Fang was extremely shocked in his heart, yet his Tao heart maintained a state of being completely calm and without the slightest fear. With his current state of mind, even at the moment of his death, his Tao heart would not waver. Whoosh! Without giving Su Fang much time to recover, he was swept up by a spatial distortion and appeared on the 9th lotus platform, which was also the last test of the 4th heaven. An old man of the Reizeigu people appeared. Splendor! Unlike the previous experts of the Reizeigu people, this expert's figure was similar to a normal human cultivator. He wore a black robe and had a vague aura. He was also a Daozu of the same height as Su Fang. However, the feeling this old man gave Su Fang was 10 times more terrifying than all the opponents he had encountered in the previous 8 stages combined. Su Fang's Destiny Dharma body also sensed an extremely dangerous aura from this person. It was an aura similar to the heavenly punishment. The Reizeigu people's innate ability was the Great Tao of Thunder. However, the Great Tao of Thunder had many branches. The Great Tao of Thunder that this old man of the Reizeigu people cultivated was a kind of heavenly punishment. The heavenly punishment was different from the heavenly tribulation. Although the heavenly tribulation of cultivators was also destructive, it was also a kind of opportunity for them. However, the heavenly punishment was different. It was the punishment of the heavenly Tao. It did not give life any chance to live, let alone opportunities. Ha! The old man of the Reizeigu people let out a thunderous cry. Then, he waved his hand and a million thoughts surged out of his palm. They immediately transformed into shocking heavenly thunder. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The aura of the heavenly punishment instantly filled the entire space of the lotus platform. Crack! 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 Thunder shot out from the hands of the old man of the Reizeigu people, forming a huge thunder array. Su Fang seemed to have fallen into the apocalypse. In chaos yang diagram. 9 yang burning heaven. Blood coffin burying heaven. Su Fang did not dare to be careless. He used all his skills. All his Dharma bodies used their magical powers to form layers of defense around him. Qi, the heavenly Dharma body, also condensed a huge golden rune, forming a powerful barrier around him. At the same time, Su Fang also used the Great Returning to Ruins technique, forming a huge mirror. The Xian Guang surged, brewing a shocking destructive attack. Boom! Boom! Chapter 32-34. Rumble! Rumble! Under the pressure of the rolling thunderballs, Su Fang's defenses began to shatter. Ultimate truths collapsed, and all spells were destroyed. T on the power of punishment was just that strong and domineering. Boom! Su, the powerful protective barrier that Fang had created with his Qi Tian Dharma body, also crumbled under the pressure of the lightning ball. Su Fang's eyes were filled with shock and surprise when he witnessed the power of the Reizeigu people's theurgy. He had thought that with his strength, he would be able to defeat all the Daozu people, including the Tensei people. He had never expected this. The Reizeigu people's theurgy was on the same level as him, but the theurgy he used was so powerful. Su Fang's invincible theurgy could not block the attack at all. All he could do was neutralize some of its power. He realized that he had underestimated the powerful chaos races. Although the Reizeigu people he was facing now was an illusion, it was clear that the chaos races had a strong grasp of the heavenly Tao. Great Returning Ruin Technique, break! Su roared and released the Great Returning Ruin Technique that he had been accumulating power for a long time. Boom! Chaos, the chaotic light beam collided with the oncoming lightning ball. One contained the power of the heavenly Tao's destruction theurgy, while the other contained the power of the heavenly Tao's punishment theurgy. The collision of the two caused an earth-shattering explosion. The lightning balls in front of the beam of light shattered and exploded. The entire lightning formation shook, and the surrounding lightning balls were also destroyed and shattered. However, Su Fang's Great Returning Ruin technique was exhausted, but it could not attack the Reizeigu people's theurgy. The lightning formation did not shatter. Another series of thunderous booms sounded. Lightning balls formed again and rolled toward Su Fang, instantly swallowing him. Boom! 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 Su Fang's physical body was shattered by the power of heavenly punishment from the explosion of countless lightning balls. His Tao palace was also shaken, and the terrifying destructive will of the heavenly Tao constantly attacked his Tao heart and soul. By the time the explosion subsided, Su Fang's body was no longer in the shape of a human. He was seriously injured. There was not a single piece of skin on his body that was intact. It was like charred charcoal. The inside of his body was a mess. Even the Heaven Blood King Vine was mostly destroyed. Was this his physical body that had undergone nirvana? After becoming a saint and going through the baptism of the Tao Source after the 9 gates of the Tao Source, his lifespan was more than 10 times that of a human's. coupled with the fact that the heaven-piercing blood king vines had penetrated his flesh and blood, his physical body was incomparably tough. If it weren't for that, even a peak Taofather of an alien race like Zhou Huan would have been reduced to a pile of ash. His Tao Palace was full of cracks. Fortunately, his Jiuquan Tao Palace was very sturdy. Otherwise, it would have been shattered. His Tao heart and soul were also impacted. However, that terrifying power of heavenly punishment could not shake his immortal Tao heart or erase his undying soul. The old man from the Reizegu people was expressionless. He waved his hand again and pointed at Su Fang. Countless thoughts merged into the lightning formation. The lightning formation rumbled and activated again, preparing for the next shocking attack. What should I do? With my current strength, it is impossible for me to defeat this expert from the Reizegu people. This means that I cannot pass the final test. Failure means death. Su Fang's mind was working furiously. His destiny avatar performed hundreds of millions of calculations in an instant. However, the results of the calculations made him despair. That expert from the Reizegu people was not someone he could fight against. There was no chance of him winning at all. Am I going to fail just like that? Facing such a critical moment, Su Fang's Tao heart was still calm. His destiny avatar continued to perform calculations. At the same time, he took out a 9-flower jade elixir from his Tao palace and swallowed it. Then, he urged the heaven-piercing blood king vine to devour the life force of the various Daozu experts to recover his life force. Puff, puff, puff. Su Fang's Daozu experts from the 12 races were devoured one by one and turned into a pile of bones. Under such crazy devouring, the flame of life started to burn inside his body. His injuries were quickly healed. Rumble. Thunder. After a while, the lightning formation exploded again. Realm Spirit's figure appeared outside the 9th Lotus platform. Ning Realm Spirit shook his head and sighed. This person's body and Tao Palace can at most withstand the power of heavenly punishment 3 more times. After that, he will be completely destroyed. With his strength, it will be difficult for him to defeat the final opponent and pass the test of the 4th heaven. I originally thought that this human cultivator had the highest chance of obtaining the inheritance. It seems like I overestimated him. After all, humans are low-level lifeforms. It will be difficult for them to obtain the supreme inheritance of the Reizegu people. I don't know how many years I have to wait before I can find a decent candidate. Realm Spirit shook his head and sighed. He was sure that Su Fang would not be able to pass the test of the 4th heaven and would definitely die. Black-Yellow Avatar. Heavenly Coffin Avatar. Imperial Heaven Avatar. Su Fang gritted his teeth and released his avatars, forming layers of barriers. Under the power of heavenly punishment, the layers of barriers were broken again. His avatars were almost shattered. However, Su Fang's avatars used their full strength. The Imperial Heaven Avatar released the power to deprive cultivators of their abilities. It weakened the attack of the Reizegu people expert. Then, it formed a huge talisman to display its powerful defensive ability. Finally, it defended against this shocking attack. Rumble. Rumble. Boom. The Reizegu people expert was like the cold and merciless heavenly Tao. He attacked again and again. Su Fang no longer used his defensive abilities. He used all his strength to use the Great Returning Ruin technique and various divine abilities to counterattack. However, the result was still failure after failure. 3 times, 5 times, 8 times, after 13 consecutive attacks, Su Fang finally reached the end of his tether. He no longer had any strength to counterattack. His physical body was almost completely destroyed. The only thing left was his unyielding will and the obsession in his heart. Outside the space of the Lotus platform, Realm Spirit was already dumbfounded. This result was far beyond his expectations. If not for the restrictions of the rules, he would have let Su Fang pass. The avatar of the Reizegu people expert became dim. His attacks became weaker and weaker. It was obvious that he had used up a lot of energy. However, he still had the strength to kill Su Fang. Am I really going to die here this time? Even the heavenly mandate avatar cannot predict any hope. I cannot lose. I still have to reach the peak of the immortal realm. I still have family, friends, and the entire human race to protect. Fang's obsession was burning, but his Tao heart was still as calm as an ancient well. But no matter how strong his will and belief were, it could not change the cruel reality. He could clearly sense that his life was rapidly slipping away. He was about to die. Su Fang could clearly sense that the shadow of death had already enveloped him. Everything is about to end. Suddenly, just as this thought flashed through Su Fang's mind, a light flashed through his mind. Yes, the heavenly mandate avatar. After countless deductions, it had actually found a glimmer of hope. Back then, when I fought with Patriarch Ku and Patriarch Rong of the heavenly tree race, I learned from their combined divine abilities that death is not the end. It is a new beginning for life. My great returning ruin technique is the same. Destruction to the extreme is not the end. It is creation. When Su Fang fought with Patriarch Ku and Rong of the heavenly tree race, he learned a lot. But understanding was one thing. It was not so easy to figure out a peerless great divine ability from it. Su Fang had always been unable to understand and master the peerless great divine ability after the great returning ruin technique. At this moment, when Su Fang was on the verge of death, he personally experienced life and death. He finally understood and firmly grasped the essence of it. My primordial chi has been completely used up. Even if I comprehend a new peerless great divine ability, I will not be able to use it. No, I still have a strong will. I can use the power of my will to perform the will visualization technique. Su Fang, who should have been in despair, suddenly became hale and hearty. He had an immortal Tao heart. Although his primordial chi and magic power were exhausted, and his physical body was on the verge of death, his immortal Tao heart was almost unharmed. He could still perform the will visualization technique. Rumble, thunder, the destructive power of the formation rolled toward Su Fang. Willpower visualization, great returning ruins technique. Su Fang's immortal Tao heart suddenly erupted with an unparalleled power of will. The obsession to pursue the supreme peak, the kindness to protect the human race, and the killing intent to kill all-powerful battle intent erupted to the extreme at this moment of life and death, causing his will to break through the limit of Daozu's realm. First, a chaotic mirror that was hard to see with the naked eye quickly condensed in front of Su Fang. Mirror the chaotic Xian Guang in the mirror surged wildly. Although it did not have any divine power, it revealed a supreme will of the heavenly Tao that could destroy and end everything. Outside the space of the lotus platform, Realm Spirit could not help but be stunned when he saw this scene. Then, he shook his head and said, "It's useless. Although the will visualization technique is powerful, it's not very useful. This human cultivator still can't escape death." However, the destructive will accumulated to the extreme on the mirror formed by the power of will. It was as if it suddenly fell from the peak to the bottom after reaching the peak. Boom! A will and principle that were completely opposite to the previous will erupted from the mirror. Then, it was a will and power of the creation of all things, the development of all things, and the evolution of the heavenly Tao. A small seed could break through solid rocks after germination. How shocking was the power of the creation of all things and the evolution of all things by the heavenly Tao! After destruction and end, there is creation and evolution. The other side of the great returning ruin technique is the great creation technique. This ability that I created from the supreme heavenly Tao is called the great creation technique. Su Fang's heart was clear at this moment. Great! The pinnacle of the returning ruin technique was creation and evolution. This was the great creation technique. Boom! the power of the great creation technique that the heavenly Tao created and evolved exploded from the mirror. It instantly enveloped the old man of the Reizeigu people and killed him. Wow. Chapter 32-35. Su Fang's consciousness was in the boundless darkness. He didn't know how long he had been sleeping before he finally woke up. He was lying in a pool of white mist. The pool wasn't water, but a milk-like liquid. It contained a shocking heavenly Tao origin aura. It was similar to the heavenly Tao baptism that Su Fang received after breaking through the 9 gates of Tao Source after transcending Daozu's heavenly tribulation. "I didn't die?" Su Fang asked. Fang was surprised, but he wasn't surprised that he had escaped death. At this moment, a divine light flashed, and then Realm Spirit's figure appeared above the pool. "Human brat, you barely passed this time. If I hadn't intervened in time, you would have perished together with the opponent formed by the Thunder Lake Original Realm's will." The old man from the Reizeigu people was killed by Su Fang's great creation technique. Su Fang was also in a life-or-death situation. It was Realm Spirit who had saved Su Fang. Su Fang stood up and bowed to Realm Spirit. "Thank you, Lord Realm Spirit, for saving me. It was indeed very dangerous this time." If he hadn't comprehended the great art of creation at the critical moment of life and death, Su Fang would have definitely died this time. The only things he could leave behind would be the longevity lamp and his original soul. Although he wouldn't die, everything would turn into nothingness. Also fortunately, Realm Spirit had intervened at the last moment. Otherwise, Su Fang wouldn't have been able to escape. Realm Spirit stroked his white beard and said, "You don't have to thank me. You passed the test of the 4th heaven with your own strength. Also, I want the Thunder Lake Original Realm to have a master as soon as possible." Su Fang looked around and asked in surprise, "Lord Realm Spirit, how long has it been? Where is this place?" Realm Spirit replied, "It hasn't been that long. It's been nearly 10 million years here. It's only been 10 years in the outside world." Su Fang was relieved. Same Ash was shocked by the difference in the flow of time here compared to the outside world. 100-day difference of 10,000 times was unimaginable in the human world. However, it was not strange. The Reizeigu people's original domain was created by the immortal realm warriors of the Reizeigu people in the heavenly Tao. They could completely break free from the constraints of time and create a space that was 1,000,000 times faster than normal. It was not difficult. Realm Spirit continued, "The place you are in is the divine origin pool created by the Reizeigu people imitating the way of the heavens. It is used to cleanse the marrow of the Reizeigu people." Divine origin pool? The origin of life that has accumulated in the divine origin pool for countless years is now yours. You have devoured more than half of it. The person in the divine origin pool is the condensation of life origin. Even if you are only left with a wisp of your soul, it can still help you reconstruct your body and bring you back to life, let alone being severely injured. He's actually so powerful. He hurriedly separated his consciousness to sense his physical body and Tao Palace. After sensing for a while, Su Fang was shocked. In the last lotus platform of the 4th level of heaven, his physical body had almost died. Now, not only had it completely recovered, but it had also undergone a shocking transformation. Every cell was perfect and contained an immense amount of life energy. What shocked Su Fang was that his physical body still had a trace of a sacred and eternal aura. It was as if it had been created by the origin of life. This meant that Su Fang's physical body already had some immortal characteristic. Su Fang estimated that his life force was now more than 100 times the limit of the human race. It had even surpassed the upper races like the Tensei people. Su Fang, the heaven-piercing blood king vine that had fused with his physical body, had almost been destroyed along with his physical body in the battle on the 9th level. Now it had completely recovered and had undergone a significant transformation. If he encountered the heaven-piercing Blood King Vine's main body now, Su Fang was confident that he could easily devour it. The Dao Palace had undergone even more changes. Dao Palace had also been completely repaired. The walls of the Dao Palace had become more solid, and the interior was filled with primordial aura. This should be because he had killed the last opponent and devoured the primordial aura, causing Su Fang's energy to completely change. However, Su Fang's cultivation did not seem to have improved much. He was still a step away from the peak. Of course, Fang knew the reason. He had only severed the good corpse. He needed to sever at least one more corpse to reach the peak of the Daozu. Next, he could only cultivate the Jiuxuan Wuji Sutra and sever the 3 corpses. The transformation of his body was also extremely shocking. Every Dharma body was an incarnation of the heavenly Tao. With a thought, he could release a powerful supernatural power that could destroy the world. Su Fang estimated that if he fought with the old man transformed from the Luai's original realm's will in the 9th level again, although it was unlikely that he could instantly crush him, defeating him would not be so difficult and dangerous. Thank you, Lord Realm Spirit, for bestowing such a good fortune. Su Fang thanked the Realm Spirit again. Enter the Divine Origin Pool to cleanse your marrow. This is also your reward for passing the 4th level of Heaven's test. It has nothing to do with me. The Realm Spirit shook his head. The reward for passing the 4th level of Heaven's test was so shocking. Then, how shocking would the rewards after that be? Su Fang's heart was filled with anticipation. Jieling continued, Su Fang of the human race, do you plan to continue to the 5th level of heaven or return to the human world? Su Fang replied without hesitation, of course, I will continue to challenge the 5th level of heaven. However, before I challenge the 5th level of heaven, can I move the human race from the low-level universe to the first 3 levels of heaven and let them reproduce in the lower 3 levels of heaven? The Realm Spirit nodded and said, of course you can. However, once an external life form enters the Luai's original realm, it will be difficult for them to leave the Luai's original realm unless you complete the 9th level of Heaven's test and become the master of the Luai's original realm. I understand. Su Fang grabbed a Xian Guang that sealed a spacetime. Time inside the spacetime were the cultivators, Big Goblin, and other life forms born in the Pongsong universe and his heavenly Tao avatar. Jieling waved her hand and swept up a divine power from the Luai's original realm. She moved all the low-level universe life forms to the lower 3 levels of heaven. These cultivators, Big Goblin, and other life forms would reproduce in the Luai's original realm from then on. The Thunderlock original realm was established within the heavenly Tao. The Thunderlock original realm cultivated the true supreme heavenly Tao. Furthermore, the spirit chi was incomparably abundant. The growth rate of these lifeforms, cultivators, and great demons naturally far exceeded that of low-level universes. This was also a backup plan that Su Fang left for the human race. Next, Su Fang continued to communicate with the Realm Spirit. He told the Realm Spirit about the crisis that the human world was facing and his plan to move all the humans to the Luai's original realm. The Realm Spirit said, I can't help you with this. You can only rely on yourself. However, I can tell you that once you pass the test of the 6th level of heaven, you can move the entire human world to the Luai's original realm. Pass the test of the 6th level of heaven? Su Fang was surprised and delighted. The 4th to 6th levels of heaven are the middle 3 heavens of the Luai's original realm. All cultivators below the Divine Saint realm can live there. However, you have to think clearly. If you can't pass all 9 levels of heaven, you will be obliterated. Those humans will never be able to leave the Luai's original realm. In the future, when the Luai's original realm has a new master, they will become the slaves of other powerful beings. I understand. Su Fang replied. Of course, Fang knew the consequences. However, he had no choice but to do so. Moreover, he was very confident in his own strength. Lord Realm Spirit, what is the test of the 5th level of heaven? Su Fang planned to pass the test of the 5th and 6th levels of heaven directly this time. He couldn't wait to ask. The Realm Spirit said slowly, the test of the 5th level of heaven is different from the previous 4 levels of heaven. It requires you to enter the world of the chaotic races to find something. Not in the Luai's original realm? Find something? Su Fang was shocked. The test of the 5th level of heaven was completely out of his expectations. Realm Spirit nodded and said, "That's right. Now I can tell you the truth. The enchantment to enter the 5th level of heaven is sealed. Even I can't open it. Moreover, almost all the inheritances of the Luai's original realm are after the 5th level of heaven." Su Fang's eyes became spirited and he asked, "Then how do I enter?" To enter the 5th level of heaven, you have to find the 5 Thunder Emperor seals that are sealed. These 5 Thunder Emperor seals are now in different chaotic races. Therefore, the test of the 5th level of heaven is to find the 5 Thunder Emperor seals. The test of the 5th level of heaven doesn't seem too difficult. Haha, it's not difficult. However, it's not easy either. Not only does it depend on strength, but it also depends on luck. Those 5 Thunder Emperor seals, some of them are in some danger zones, some of them are in some powers with immortal realm experts. Hence, strength and luck are both indispensable. Apart from that, you also need a certain amount of intelligence. Factions with immortal realm experts and dangerous and desolate places? Su Fang raised his eyebrows. This was going to be troublesome. The Luai's original realm can sense the approximate location of the 5 Thunder Emperor seals. I will send you directly to the spacetime where the Thunder Emperor seals are. As for how to get the Thunder Emperor seals, that's your problem. You can steal, snatch, or cheat. I am a Daozu expert after all. Moreover, I have few opponents in the Daozu. Why would I cheat? Su Fang rubbed his nose and smiled bitterly. The time limit is still 1,000,000 years. If you can't find all 5 Thunder Emperor seals within the time limit, it will be considered a failure. You know the consequence of failure. That is death. I understand. Also, I want to remind you that you better find all 5 Thunder Emperor seals before that Tensei Peoples Jr. starts the test of the 5th level of heaven. Otherwise, if he competes with you and finds one of the seals, it will be difficult for you to complete the test. Zhou Nua? Su Fang's heart skipped a beat. If Zhou Nua also started the test of the 5th level of heaven, with the Tensei People's strength, he would definitely have an absolute advantage over Su Fang. At that time, even if Su Fang had immortal realm strength, it would be difficult for him to win against Zhou Nua. Su Fang quickly asked, "Which level of heaven is Zhou Nua at now?" "He is still in the 3rd level of heaven, but he will be there soon." Chapter 32-36. For the 3rd stage, Zhou Nua had made ample preparations among the Tensei people. With the help of forbidden techniques, he had cultivated a strong physical body. He was unstoppable on the bone bridges, killing the bloody figures and stepping over the skeletons. Looking at Zhou Nua's high-spirited appearance in the picture scroll, Su Fang sneered disdainfully. Relying on the Eternal Race's resources to have such ability, in the end, you're still a piece of trash. Spirit chuckled and said, "Having a powerful force behind him is also a part of his abilities. You have no choice but to accept it." Fang said, "With the help of a force, he can have a smooth journey. However, without tempering himself, his future achievements will be extremely limited. I, Su Fang, have relied on my own efforts and abilities to reach where I am today. This is not bad. If not for your own efforts, you would not have passed the 1st stage, let alone the 4th. Compared to you, those Tensei people are still far behind." Spirit shook her head and smiled. In her heart, she had already recognized Su Fang as the successor of the Luai's original realm and ignored Zhou Nu. Spirit took out a Xian Guang. There were 5 jade slips inside the Xian Guang. He said to Su Fang, "Among these jade slips, There is information about the primal chaos clans and spacetime where the 5 Thunder Emperor seals are located. Take a look and I will send you there directly. Su Fang took the jade slips and read the information inside. Thinking after pondering for a while, Su Fang said, "Go to the Fu Yu race first." Spirit nodded and said, "Fu Yu race? You picked the easiest one, so I'll send you straight to the Fu Yu clan." Su Fang suddenly asked, "My lord, if I collect all 5 Thunder Emperor seals, does that mean Zhou Nua can enter the 5th without taking the test after passing the 4th? Spirit said indifferently, "Of course there is no need to take the test, because by then, he would have been killed. What else is there to take?" Spirit's words made Su Fang's heart skip a beat. It was Zhou Nua's death. Although the Su Fang had one less competitor, it also meant that the Su Fang would have to face the unbridled revenge of the Tensei people. The entire human race would suffer. Divine Master of 10 Directions, Tensei people. Time is of the essence. Not only do I need to obtain the 5 Lightning Emperor seals as soon as possible, I also need to pass the 6th Heavens test after passing the 5th Heavens test. After that, I will move the human race to the original realm of the Lightning Lake. After pondering for a while, Su Fang Chao Boundary Spirit asked, "Lord Boundary Spirit, what is the trial of the 6th layer of heaven?" Ling's tone turned sinister. "Slaughter. With the blood of billions of cultivators, we declare the return of the Reizegu people to the primal chaos." Realm Spirit's cold voice caused the killing intent in Su Fang's heart to surge uncontrollably. Realm Spirit flicked his finger and a bolt of lightning flashed, landing between Su Fang's eyebrows and entering the Dao Palace. Su He sensed it with his consciousness and saw a fist-sized golden lightning ball in the Holy Ji Palace. It contained the aura of the origin of the Luai's original realm. Same as Su Fang also sensed that there was a strange connection between him and the original realm of the Luai's original realm. This mark can help you sense the location of the Lightning Emperor seals. I will send you to the Fu Yu race. Su Fang of the human race, I hope you are lucky enough to find the 5 Lightning Emperor seals as soon as possible. As Realm Spirit nodded, a divine aura surged out from around Su Fang, enveloping him and sending him out. Also at this moment, Zhou Nua successfully killed his way out of the 3rd heaven. That human cultivator is probably still struggling in the 4th heaven. Not only will I surpass you, but I will also trample you under my feet. Zhou Nua easily passed the 3rd heavens test. He couldn't help but be overflowing with confidence. Tensei Peoples Jr., if you want to surpass that human cultivator, I'm afraid you still need to put in some effort. He has already started the 5th heavens test. Spirit walked over awkwardly, and her words caused Zhou Nua's expression to change drastically. His confidence and arrogance instantly vanished without a trace. "Lord Realm Spirit, please send me to the 4th heaven." Zhou Nua gritted his teeth and said. Realm Spirit rolled out a Xian Guang, which enveloped the reward for passing the 3rd heaven. "There's no hurry. Choose your reward first." "No need." Zhou Nua was now focused on surpassing Su Fang. He didn't care about the reward. "Up to you." Realm Spirit smiled embarrassedly and used his divine aura to send Zhou Nua to the 4th heaven. Asterisk, 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 asterisk in the depths of the primal chaos. 1st heaven. Countless material continents floated in the space-time of Fang. They were like leaves floating on a vast ocean. Crack. From at the highest point of space, a bolt of lightning suddenly flashed out without the slightest sign, and then a figure flashed out before fleeing into space and vanishing without a trace. Right, it was Su Fang who came out of the original realm of the Luai's original realm. Su Fang teleported to the depths of spacetime. Fu Yu race. He used his sensory ability and projected it to the entire spacetime. There were countless cultivators of other races living on the material continent. It was much smaller than the human world, but the cultivation environment here was much better than the Jiuxuan realm of the gods. Su Fang'an said, It seems like the Fuyu race is doing well among the races in the chaos. Crackle. Come. From a floating city in the depths of spacetime, an aura caused the ball of lightning inside Su Fang's Tao Palace to suddenly become restless. The Thunder Emperor's seal is there. Su Fang was overjoyed. He teleported again. When he reappeared, he was above the divine capital, where the Fuyu race's power was concentrated. Every single one of them, a single Thunder Emperor's seal, was related to the success or failure of the fifth heaven. Su Fang didn't dare to waste any time, so he didn't dare to be careless. He projected his sensory ability and carefully sensed the interior of the divine capital. The strongest of the Fuyu race is a peak-level Daozu powerhouse. He's as strong as Zhou Huan of the Tensei people. The Thunder Emperor's seal is also in his body. But it's a little troublesome. Su Fang spent 3 days sensing and heard a lot of information from the Fuyu race cultivators in the divine capital. The conclusion made Su Fang frown. For he, Fuyu, the strongest of the Fuyu race, was indeed a peak-level Daozu powerhouse. With Su Fang's current strength, he naturally didn't fear him. He could easily break into the divine capital and snatch the seal from the peak-level Daozu powerhouse. However, the Fuyu race wasn't simple. In the races without immortal powerhouses, found it hard to survive in the chaos. The Fuyu race was a vassal of a powerful race with immortal powerhouses. If he attacked the strongest of the Fuyu race directly and alerted the immortal powerhouse, he would be in big trouble. With Su Fang's strength, he was confident that he could snatch the Thunder Emperor seal before the immortal powerhouse arrived. However, the barrier around the immortal powerhouse's abode was extremely shocking. It was created by an immortal powerhouse, so it was very difficult to break through in a short period of time. I have to lure the immortal powerhouse out of the divine capital and seize the Thunder Emperor seal before the immortal powerhouse arrives. Su Fang thought to himself. After pondering for a while, he sat cross-legged in the sky above Shendu. He used his powerful sensing ability to sense and scout for useful information. Then, he used the countless information he had collected to make various deductions and come up with various plans in an attempt to lure that ultimate powerhouse out. Big. About 3 months later, Su Fang he stood up, and his aura and appearance changed rapidly. He didn't look like a 17-year-old anymore. Instead, he looked like a 15-year-old youth. His cultivation base was suppressed to the lower Daolord level. Even his aura didn't belong to the human race anymore. Instead, it belonged to the Tensei people. With Su Fang's current life form already had a trace of the immortal characteristic. He could change his life form at will. Changing his appearance and age was something that couldn't be easier. As for his life force, Su Fang used the heaven-piercing blood King Vine to devour the life force of the Tensei people. Then, he revealed a trace of the Tensei people's aura. It was naturally a piece of cake for him. Su Fang he grabbed a luxurious silver robe and put it on. He was a handsome Tensei people, and he looked quite similar to Zhou Nu. Su Fang then, he flew towards the entrance of the divine capital. He quietly appeared behind the group of people waiting to enter the divine capital and moved forward with them. Enter. There were many Fuyu race and cultivators from other races entering the divine capital. Coupled with the fact that they had to undergo strict checks, the group moved forward very slowly. Su Fang wasn't in a hurry. He calmly moved forward with the group. He was dressed like an extraordinary genius of the Tensei people, and he attracted the attention of many Fuyu race and cultivators from other races. Swoosh! Swoosh! A beam of white light flashed across the sky and bumped into Su Fang. It's exactly as my destiny Dharma body predicted. Su Fang murmured. A trace of coldness flashed across his eyes. He flashed and dodged the beam of white light. The white light paused, revealing a figure. It turned out to be a fox-like exotic beast with snow-white fur. Its eyes were rolling around, revealing intelligence and cunning. This beast. It wasn't an extraordinary beast. It was a snow fox. It looked cute, smart, and cunning, but it didn't have any special talent. However, it was loved by female cultivators. The snow fox glanced at Su Fang. Suddenly, it let out a shrill scream. Its body twitched, then it stiffened and stopped breathing. It was dead. Everyone's attention was drawn over and they all looked at Su Fang. Su Fang rubbed his nose and smiled embarrassedly. With his senses, it wasn't hard for him to discover that the snow fox, which seemed to be dead, was actually alive and well. It was just pretending to be dead. You actually killed my baby," a woman's scream was heard. Then, a Fuyu race woman in a long purple dress flew over. Female, she held the snow fox in her arms and began to cry loudly, as if she had lost a loved one. A bearded man walked over and looked at Su Fang with a gloomy face. "Tensei people kid, you killed Miss Zisun's pet. You're in big trouble. Pay up." Porcelain? In the divine capital, outside the divine capital, the Fuyu race was being blackmailed. "Su Fang, I didn't even touch the snow fox. How could I kill it?" Fang asked blandly. "We saw you kill the snow fox with our own eyes. How dare you deny it? This is the Fuyu race. How can a Tensei people kid like you be so arrogant?" Chapter 32-37. Su Fang smiled. Everything that had happened was exactly as he had predicted with his destiny avatar. Naturally, he was not surprised. Ever since he became a Daozu, Su Fang had never had the chance to enter the world of low-level cultivators. This scene was quite interesting to him. At this moment, a middle-aged Fuyu clan man, who was at the Dao Xian level, yelled at Su Fang, "Kid from the Universe clan, why aren't you paying?" Su Fang asked calmly, "Is a peak-grade Xian Bao enough?" Then, he waved his hand and took out a peak-grade Xian sword used by Tensei people. It floated in front of him, emitting an ancient aura and a shocking treasure aura. A peak-grade Xian Bao? Swoosh! Swoosh! The eyes of the purple-clothed woman, the dozen Fuyu men, and the surrounding non-humankind cultivators instantly lit up. God, the Ian race was an upper race among the Chaos races. The Tensei people were famous for their Xian Bao. Although the Fuyu cultivators could not make the Tensei people use their Xian Bao, they could sell it for a high price in the Chamber of Commerce. Who knew how many snow raccoons they could buy with it? Since yes, this peak-grade Xian sword of the Tensei people aroused the greed in the hearts of these Fuyu cultivators. Since the Tao mystic Fuyu cultivator's eyes were filled with greed. He waved his hand and absorbed the Xian sword into his body. Then, he sneered, "Miss Zisun's snow raccoons are rare chaos races. A peak-grade Xian Bao is far from enough." "Not enough?" Su Fang smiled embarrassedly and waved his hand. Another royal Xian Bao of the Tensei people appeared before him. Hiss. Before entering the divine capital, cries of surprise could be heard. Greedy gazes were all focused on the royal Xian Bao. Since the purple-clothed woman and the other men were all dumbfounded. They often set up traps in front of the door, specifically to trap cultivators from other races. This time, he could see that Su Fang was a fat sheep, and he was ready to ruthlessly slaughter them. Noto think that this fat sheep would be so fat that it made them a little scared. The Fuyu middle-aged man responded with a trembling voice, "King Grade Xian Bao. Enough, of course it's enough." After that, he put away the King Grade Xian Bao. "Shui don't know," a domineering and majestic voice rang out like a clap of thunder. "What does a mere King Grade Xian Bao amount to?" While his voice was still echoing in the air, a middle-aged Fuyu clan man flew out. Here he was dressed in a long black robe, and his entire body exuded a domineering aura. His cultivation was also shocking, and he was a cultivator at the lower level of Divine Saint. Seeing this person, the purple-clothed woman and the other Fuyu clan men trembled in fear and stepped back. Su Fang raised his eyebrows. "King Grade Xian Bao isn't enough to compensate for a snow fox?" The black-robed middle-aged man shouted in a deep voice, "There are plenty of King Grade Xian Bao, but there's only one chaos mutant. It's far from enough. Let's go. Follow me to the divine capital. I want to talk to you about the compensation. Everyone looked at Su Fang. Some were gloating, while others were filled with sympathy. Su Fang sneered in his heart. This divine saint was clearly a powerful figure. Su Fang offered a king-grade xian bao, which aroused his greed. He wanted to lure Su Fang to the divine capital so that he could kill Su Fang and seize the treasure. If one king-grade xian bao isn't enough, how about 10? Su Fang waved his hand embarrassedly, and 10 Tensei people's xian bao floated in front of him. They shone brightly, and the aura of treasures was overwhelming. It was very tempting. Then, the black-robed man instantly lost his dignity. Flames of greed burned in his eyes, and the murderous intent in his heart grew even stronger. Is this Tensei people kid an idiot? Taking out so many treasures at once, does he want to die? Maybe he's a disciple of the Tensei people with an extraordinary status and has never left the sect. This kid, the more treasures he takes out, the faster he will die. He doesn't even know this. The surrounding crowd was in an uproar as they secretly communicated with each other. They were all feeling pity. Of course, they weren't feeling pity for Su Fang, but for such a fat sheep. There were so many treasures, but they couldn't get a single one. The black-robed divine saint waved his hand and absorbed all 11 king-grade xian bao into his body. Then, he said indifferently, Tensei people kid, where did you get so many treasures? You must have stolen them. Follow me to the divine capital, and I will contact the Tensei people to find out. Su Fang snorted and said, Do you think I'm an idiot? You're clearly coveting this young master's treasures. How could this young master fall for your tricks when you want to kill me and steal my treasures? At most, I won't enter the divine capital of the Fu Yu race. After that, Su Fang turned around and was about to leave. Do you think you can leave? The black-robed divine saint shouted coldly. He waved his hand and grabbed toward Su Fang, trying to suppress Su Fang. Whoosh! However, a square-shaped golden rock that looked like a huge seal flashed out from between Su Fang's eyebrows. It released a holy and immortal aura, and a terrifying divine power instantly shackled the black-robed divine saint. Just it was Su Fang's heaven edict stone, which had already become a Dharmakaya. Sizzle! 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 Xian Guang burst out from the heaven edict stone and turned into a golden rune. Then, a terrifying divine power that could deprive a cultivator of their innate abilities erupted and enveloped the black-robed divine saint. The black-robed divine saint was shocked to find that his innate abilities were being forcibly stripped from his body and devoured by the golden rune. Cultivation. All the travelers came from the heavenly Tao, and the heaven edict stone was powerful enough to deprive a cultivator of all their abilities. This was how powerful and domineering it was. In less than 5 breaths, the innate and acquired abilities of the black-robed divine saint were completely devoured by the rune. Then, the rune was sucked into the heaven edict stone and disappeared without a trace. The black-robed divine saint lost all his abilities. He could no longer use his Tao saint cultivation, and he was no different from an ordinary person. He was scared out of his wits. The surrounding Fu Yu clan cultivators were all dumbfounded, then turned into ice statues. The Fu Yu race cultivators who set up the trap for Su Fang were even more terrified. The purple-robed woman was so frightened that her body trembled, and she even wet herself. It's better for you to obediently take out my Xian treasure. Su Fang waved his hand and clenched his fingers. The 11 pieces of king-grade Xian Guang that the black-robed divine saint had just absorbed into his body flew uncontrollably to Su Fang. After putting away the heaven edict stone and the king-grade Xian Guang, Su Fang calmly and embarrassedly left. That's a primordial heavenly treasure. From the depths of the divine capital, exclamations that ordinary cultivators couldn't hear could be heard. He's only a Tao Lord, and he can't activate it more than a few times with that treasure. Kill him! After Su Fang flew far away, the Fu Yu race cultivators in front of the door finally woke up from their daze. They didn't know who it was, but someone shouted and they charged at Su Fang like tidewater. Suddenly, a strong and violent divine power descended, following which, the 7 Fu Yu clan cultivators flashed out simultaneously. 7 Daozu. Under the divine power of the Daozu, those Fu Yu race cultivators who were chasing after Su Fang couldn't even move. Su Fang looked at the 7 Daozu with disappointment in his eyes. It turned out that the supreme Fu Yu race cultivator didn't show up. Instead, he sent out the 7 Daozu. To deal with Su Fang, who was only a Daolord on the surface, the supreme Fu Yu race cultivator sent out 7 Daozu at once. They didn't even send out their thoughts. Instead, they came in person. Clearly, the supreme Fu Yu race cultivator attached great importance to the primordial heavenly treasure. Tensei people, kid, you've been so arrogant in front of our Fu Yu race. You hurt our powerful beings, and now you think you can just walk away like this? Said a Fu Yu Daozu majestically. Although the Fu Yu race isn't a higher race, Tensei people can't bully us as they wish. You can stay here and don't leave. Another Fu Yu clan ancestor growled coldly and aggressively. His strong spirit power pressed down towards Su Fang, seeming to cover the sky. Su Fangchi looked at the 7 Dao ancestors of the Fu Yu clan and smiled embarrassedly. Then, he activated his Qi Tian avatar once again. Boom! Boom! Under the overwhelming power of the Heaven Edict Stone, even those Daozu couldn't survive. Boom! Under the Heaven Edict Stone's supreme will, the wills of the 7 Daozu were suppressed and eventually collapsed. Then, their powers were stripped away and devoured layer by layer. Boom! The 7 Daozu were all shocked and frightened. Humph! Do you think you can do whatever you want in the Fu Yu race with a primordial heavenly treasure? This powerful will from a peak-level Daozu descended, shattering the will of the Heaven Edict Stone and the shackles of the Heaven Edict Stone's power. Only then did the 7 Daozu break free from the shackles and flee as if they had just been pardoned. 1. A beam of divine light flashed across the sky. An old man transformed from a thought emerged from the void and reached out his hand to grab the Heaven Edict Stone and Su Fang. How dare you suppress me with a mere thought? Su Fang's aura changed drastically. From the height of a Daolord, he quickly turned into a Daozu. No. Su Fang still didn't plan to reveal his full power. Instead, he only showed the power of an ordinary Daozu. He activated the Heaven Edict Stone, and the powerful will of the great Dao crushed that thought. Then, Su Fang flashed across the air and teleported away from the outskirts of the divine capital, disappearing without a trace. Daozu? That young man from the Tensei people is a Daozu. In front of the gate of the divine capital, the Fu Yu race cultivators burst into an uproar. Everyone was shocked and frightened. The purple-clothed woman's face turned pale. Then, her body softened and she fainted. Why did a Daozu from the Tensei people disguise himself and come to the Fu Yu race? This man's behavior is indeed suspicious. In an independent space deep inside the divine capital, a Fu Yu race old man frowned and murmured to himself. He was the strongest Fu Yu race cultivator. But for that primordial heavenly treasure, any risk is worth it. This is the territory of the Fu Yu race. What can an ordinary Daozu do? Chapter 32-38. Su Fang teleported to another area of space, but he was still in the space-time plane of the Fu Yu clan. No. He could go too far away, in case the Fu Yu clan supreme being became suspicious and did not dare to chase after him. He stood in the air with his hands clasped behind his back, waiting calmly. No. In less than half an hour, Oni figure stepped out of the air and appeared less than 1,000 miles away from Su Fang. It was the Fu Yu clan supreme being. Su Fang smiled. And he was here. He was about to get the first Thunder Emperor seal. The Fu Yu clan supreme being stared at Su Fang and said in a majestic voice, "Who are you among the Tensei people?" Why are you acting so arrogantly in our Fu Yu clan? He was indeed the supreme being of a clan. Although his heart was filled with greed, he did not let it get to his head. He remained vigilant and rational. Su Fang smiled embarrassedly. Aren't you here for my primordial heavenly treasure? Why do you have to talk so much? Humph, the Fu Yu clan is not a place for Tensei people like you to be arrogant. Wait until I suppress you, then I will negotiate with the Tensei people. The Fu Yu clan supreme being was dominated by greed. He no longer cared about Su Fang's identity and planned to suppress him directly and get the treasure first. You can't get my primordial heavenly treasure. Instead, your treasure will belong to me. Before the Fu Yu clan supreme being could make a move, Su Fang shouted coldly and attacked first. There was no need for him to hide his strength now. The supreme will of the great Tao erupted and covered 10,000 miles in space, enveloping the Fu Yu clan supreme being. Su Fang had an immortal Tao heart and cultivated the supreme great Tao. How strong was his will! Although the Fu Yu clan supreme being was a peak-level Daozu, his Tao heart trembled under Su Fang's will. He could not gather his thoughts or send any message. You actually came for my immortal Thunder God seal? This powerful Yu clan being finally understood that Su Fang wasn't an ordinary Daozu. Instead, he was a powerful Daozu, whose willpower was over 10 times greater than his own. Same Ash also understood Su Fang's intentions. Su Fang Chiu possessed a primordial heavenly treasure, yet he said that he wanted to snatch Luo Yunyang's treasure. The most important treasure Luo Yunyang possessed was naturally the so-called Immortal Lightning Divine Seal. The Immortal Lightning Divine Seal? Su Fang was startled for a moment, then smiled lightly. This king doesn't know anything about the Immortal Thunder God Seal, but I want to take away your Thunder Emperor's seal. Take it out. This king won't make things difficult for you on account of how difficult it is for you to cultivate. You are not an undying being, yet you dare to be so arrogant in front of a pinnacle warrior of Daozu? My Immortal Thunder God Seal is the inherited supreme treasure of the Fu Yu clan. How can I give it to you? The Yu clan's most powerful being let out a snort of laughter. Along with that, a violent and destructive will, which contained an immortal power, burst out of his body and shattered Su Fang's will. The Fu Yu clan supreme being laughed proudly. The Immortal Thunder God's seal contains the willpower of an undying being. How can a Daozu resist it? Even a primordial heavenly treasure is useless. Take out your primordial heavenly treasure. Unexpectedly, a series of thunders suddenly burst from Su Fang's palace of Tao, and a stream of power from the original world gushed out of the palace of Tao. The willpower that the Yu clan supreme being released with the help of the Thunder Emperor's seal collapsed layer by layer, and disappeared in a blink of an eye. It turned out that the Thunder Ball in Su Fang's palace of Tao had automatically released the original power of the original world, and the willpower contained in the Thunder Emperor's seal sensed it. As if it had met its master, it obediently restrained its power. This is impossible. You are a Daozu of the Tensei people. How can you suppress the willpower of an undying being? The Fu Yu clan supreme being exclaimed in shock. That's because I am the owner of the Thunder Emperor's seal. Why doesn't it obey me when it sees me? Su Fang smiled embarrassedly. You are the owner of the Immortal Thunder God's seal? Impossible. You are just a Daozu. The Immortal Thunder God's seal contains the willpower of an undying being. How can you be the owner of this treasure? The Fu Yu clan supreme being naturally wouldn't believe it. I have taken the Thunder Emperor's seal, so I am its owner. So, are you going to hand it over now, or do you want me to suppress you and take it away by force? Su Fang said aggressively. The Fu Yu clan supreme being sneered disdainfully. You want me to hand over the supreme treasure of my race? Impossible. Humph. You are powerful, but don't forget that this is my territory. Even if I can't defeat you, do you think you can stop me if I want to leave? Under my willpower, You won't even have the chance to escape, Su Fang said. As soon as Su Fang finished speaking, his destiny celestial body released its power. A power and willpower that couldn't be disobeyed shackled the Fu Yu clan supreme being. This is the power of destiny. Since when did the Tensei people master the great Tao of destiny? Under the pressure of destiny, the Fu Yu clan supreme being's Tao heart began to waver, and his willpower began to yield. No. As expected of a peak-level Daozu supreme being, he was still struggling. You won't cry until you see the coffin. Su Fang didn't dare to delay for too long. It would be troublesome if an undying being was attracted. Clang. He immediately performed the great ruins to end technique with his willpower. The will of the great Tao of destruction and the great Tao of termination descended, crushing the Fu Yu clan supreme being. Under the pressure of the great ruins to end technique and the destiny celestial body, the Fu Yu clan supreme being's willpower finally began to crumble. He also understood that it wouldn't be difficult for Su Fang to kill him. The immortal Thunder God's seal was incomparably important to the Fu Yu clan, but compared to his life, the latter was more important. The immortal Thunder God's seal is for you. The Yu clan's most powerful being opened his mouth and let out a bolt of lightning. Within the lightning bolt, a 5-inch square seal was wrapped in the lightning bolt, flying towards Su Fang. This is the Thunder God's seal? Su Fang wrapped the seal up and sensed it with the origin of the Thunder Lake original world. After confirming that it was indeed the Thunder God's seal, he absorbed it into his Tao Palace and sealed it without hesitation. This treasure is very useful to me. I'm sorry for offending you. The Tensei people will repay you in the future. See you again, Su Fang said. Then, he restrained his willpower, cupped his hands to the Fu Yu clan supreme being, and flew away. Before leaving, he didn't forget to trick the Tensei people. Tensei people. The Fu Yu clan supreme being gnashed his teeth. However, Tensei people were a higher race in the chaos space. How could the Fu Yu clan dare to offend them? The undying beings that the Fu Yu clan relied on wouldn't stand up for the Fu Yu clan just because they lost a treasure. This, the Fu Yu clan could only admit that they were unlucky. How could they dare to cause trouble for the Tensei people? Fu outside the space where the Fu Yu clan lived, Su Fang flew out of the chaos space. I got the first Thunder God's seal so easily. Su Fang grabbed the Thunder God's seal, and his eyes shone like stars. Compared to the tests in the original realm of Luai's, getting the first Thunder God's seal was way too easy. Su Fang found it hard to believe. Let's return to the original realm of Luai's first, then move on to the next target. Su Fang injected the original realm of Luai's original realm into the Thunder God's seal. A void aura erupted from the Thunder God's seal, and it immediately disappeared into the depths of the chaos space. Rumble! Rumble! Thunder rumbled from the chaos space, followed by a flash of lightning that enveloped Su Fang. Su Fang allowed the lightning to shackle him, and he disappeared into the chaos space without a trace. Wait. When Su Fang reappeared, he was already in the 4th layer of Luai's original realm. It really is the Thunder God's seal. Not bad. Looks like you're quite lucky to have gotten your first Thunder God's seal in such a short time. Su Fang took out the Thunder God's seal, and the realm spirit clicked his tongue in praise after sensing it. Su Fang was not happy. If the remaining 4 Thunder God seals were so easy, then he would be able to pass the test of the 5th layer of Luai's in a few years. God! After the realm spirit praised him, he immediately poured cold water on Su Fang. He waved his hand, and a picture scroll appeared in front of Su Fang. In the picture scroll, Zhou Nua was in the 5th lotus platform of the 4th layer of Luai's, and he was engaged in an intense battle with his opponent. Zhou Nua entered the 5th lotus platform test in such a short time. Su Fang could not help but be shocked. The first time he entered the 4th layer of Luai's, he had to stop at the 4th lotus platform. Zhou Nua had entered the 5th lotus platform in such a short time. His speed was truly astonishing. The realm spirit snorted. Look again. Su Fang looked intently. Very quickly, he saw something. Zhou Nua's talent and strength were indeed extraordinary. However, no matter how extraordinary he was, it was impossible for him to achieve such astonishing speed in the fourth layer of Luais. He was mainly relying on a Xian Bao. To be precise, it was a Dharma body cultivated from the Xian Bao. That Xian Bao looked like a jade scepter, and it emitted an impure aura of eternal immortality. It was a primordial heavenly treasure. No, it was not a primordial heavenly treasure like the longevity lamp, which was born naturally from the primordial heavenly treasure. Instead, it was a treasure that had not been born naturally, and only after being refined and cultivated did it barely reach the level of a primordial heavenly treasure. It was extremely similar to the Heaven Edict stone. That jade scepter could release an astonishing power of time, causing the time within the space of the lotus platform to enter a state of stillness. Although the powerful opponents Zhou Nua faced were not shackled, they were trapped in a time vortex, and their movements became sluggish. While Zhou Nua was not restricted at all. Instead, he could advance and retreat as he pleased, and his attacks were also not affected. For example, in this way, those illusory opponents were in a completely passive situation. No. In addition, Zhou Nua's opponents were all Dao saints, so they were naturally unable to resist the power of a primordial heavenly treasure. In the end, they were all easily killed by Zhou Nu. Zhou Nua's consumption of energy was also astonishing. No. That jade scepter easily resolved this problem. After entering the next lotus platform, Zhou Nua did not wait for his opponents to appear. He activated the jade scepter, causing the space within the lotus platform to enter a state of stillness, while he leisurely swallowed pills without restraint. No. Moreover, Zhou Nua's pills were indeed extraordinary. They contained an astonishing power of time, and they could accelerate the effects of the pills. At the same time, they could increase the speed of recovery by countless times. Su. Chapter 32-39. Su Fang relied on his own strength, while Zhou Nua relied on treasures and elixirs. If this wasn't cheating, then what was? Realm Spirit said embarrassedly, that Tensei Peoples Jr. did use tricks. However, he cultivated that half-step primordial heavenly treasure into a Dharma body. It's also part of his strength. Hence, it's not cheating. I can't do anything to him. You can't be unconvinced. Unconvinced? What can such a person achieve in the future? Why should I be unconvinced? Su Fang sneered. Realm Spirit said, I don't think highly of that Tensei Peoples Jr. either. You'd better hurry and find the remaining 4 Thunder Emperor seals. If he passes the 4th test and fights with you for the Thunder Emperor seal, you'll be in big trouble. Thank you for your reminder, Lord Realm Spirit. I'll go to the Soft Cloud Clan next. Soft Cloud Clan? The Soft Cloud Clan isn't a powerful clan. It shouldn't be difficult for you to obtain the Thunder Emperor seal. Spirit nodded and activated the power of the Thunder Lake original realm to teleport Su Fang out. The sea of clouds was boundless. The entire space-time plane was shrouded by clouds and mist. It was like an illusion. In the vast sea of clouds, objects were faintly discernible. A special chaotic clan lived on these objects. It was the Soft Cloud Clan. The Soft Cloud Clan was once glorious and had an immortal realm expert. It was a pity that the immortal realm expert went missing. It was said that he went deeper into the chaos and never returned. The Soft Cloud Clan's physique was very special. Their life force had the ability to nourish life and heal injuries. In addition, the Soft Cloud Clan lost the protection of the immortal realm expert. Hence, they became the target of many chaotic clans and were hunted down everywhere. In the end, the Soft Cloud Clan hid in a secret and desolate space-time plane created by the immortal realm expert. They were lucky enough to survive until now. Among them, one of the Thunder Emperor seals was among the Soft Cloud Clan. Kacha. A bolt of lightning tore through the sea of clouds. Su Fang's figure flashed out of the void along with the lightning. What a special soft cloud clan! After sensing it, he couldn't help but be amazed. Cloud, the life forms of the soft race, were extremely unique. They did not have a corporeal body. Their entire bodies were like life energy condensed from clouds and mist. They could change their forms at will. Only cultivators above Tao Profound could cultivate the fleshy body of a normal person. It was the first time Su Fang had seen such a strange life form, so he was naturally extremely surprised and couldn't help but sigh with emotion. However, Su Fang did not come to the Soft Cloud clan to sightsee this time. Instead, he came to look for the Thunder Emperor seal. After sighing, Su Fang directly teleported into the depths of the vast hidden depths. Big about 3 days. A huge mountain shrouded in thick clouds appeared in Su Fang's line of sight. Su Fang's extraordinary vision pierced through the clouds and mist. He could see that the mountain was incomparably huge, 10 times more astonishing than the main peak of Shixian Mountain. There were many dojos on the mountain peak, as well as countless Cloud Soft clan cultivators. Su Fang borrowed the Thunder Lake original realm's natural source and could clearly sense that the Thunder Emperor seal was hidden inside the huge mountain. What surprised Su Fang was that at the peak of the huge mountain, countless Cloud Soft clan cultivators were standing in the air, looking at the sky as if they were facing a great enemy. Above, a lady stood in the air above the mountain peak. What surprised Su Fang and shocked him was that the lady was actually someone he knew, and the kind that he was very familiar with. Where Heavenly Blood King Vine's main body, Shui Man. He didn't expect. He absolutely didn't expect. Previously, outside the Ice Soul Sacred Region, the heaven-piercing Blood King Vine escaped with serious injuries. He didn't expect to encounter it in the Soft Cloud clan. Looks like I'm really fated with this heaven-piercing Blood King Vine's main body. Su Fang touched the tip of his nose and smiled knowingly. No. He had no intention of attacking. His goal was the Thunder Emperor seal. How could he have the time to care about the Soft Cloud clan's matters? Clang. However, Su Fang was more than happy to kill the heaven-piercing Blood King Vine's main body and completely resolve their previous grudges. Heaven-piercing Blood King Vine, the Soft Cloud clan is not a place where you can act arrogantly. Leave quickly. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. The leader of the Soft Cloud clan's cultivators was a handsome and delicate young man. He shouted into the sky. The cultivation of this young man from the Soft Cloud clan was extraordinary. He was a Daozu cultivator. His cultivation was the highest among the cultivators of the Soft Cloud clan, but he was only an ordinary Daozu. One could see how far the Soft Cloud clan had fallen. The heaven-piercing Blood King Vine's main body, Shui Man, chuckled and said, "It wasn't easy for me to find the legendary Cloud Soft clan. This seat wants to use you to recover my strength. How can I bear to leave so easily?" As it turned out, Shui Man had escaped into the depths of the primal chaos after being heavily injured. She had accidentally discovered the Soft Cloud clan. With her heaven-piercing and earth-piercing talent, she was actually able to penetrate the barrier and enter this place. The young man from the Soft Clouds clan shouted, "You have infiltrated our clan for many years and have devoured countless of our clansmen. Your injuries have long recovered. Why do you still refuse to leave?" Shui Man smiled and said, "This seat heard that the Soft Cloud Mountain's mountain spirit was born from the essence of the entire Soft Cloud world. If I devour the mountain spirit, I might be able to undergo a great transformation. As long as you hand over the mountain spirit, this seat will naturally leave the Soft Cloud clan. I promise that I won't devour any more Soft Cloud clan cultivators. If you want the mountain spirit, you will have to step over our dead bodies." The young man from the Soft Cloud clan shouted angrily. He said. Then, he led tens of thousands of Soft Cloud clan cultivators and formed a formation. Billowing fog instantly enveloped the entire mountain and Shui Man in the sky. Strongest cultivator of the Soft Cloud clan, You are just an ordinary Daozu. How can you resist this seat? Previously, when I devoured those soft cloud clan cultivators and extracted their memories, I know that you secretly loved the mountain spirit. Now, in order to protect the mountain spirit, you are willing to sacrifice the entire soft cloud clan. You are too selfish. Shui-man's laughter rang out from the thick fog and spread in all directions. The heaven-piercing Blood King Vine's main body was indeed despicable. She actually dared to incite the Soft Cloud Clan cultivators. As expected, some of the Soft Cloud Clan cultivators were tempted by Shui-man's words. They began to hesitate, and a flaw appeared in the formation. Swoosh! Swoosh! Su Fangzai stood in the distance with his hands behind his back. When he saw this scene, he raised his eyebrows and hesitated whether he should make a move. Suddenly, a divine consciousness transmitted over. You are a human? There is actually a strong cultivator like you among the humans? Fangzai was surprised. Mountain spirit? I am the mountain spirit of the soft cloud mountain. Human cultivator. I can sense the aura of the Thunder Lake original realm from your body. You should be from the Thunder Lake original realm. Thunder Emperor print? You are the original spirit of the Thunder Emperor print? Su Fang sensed the aura of the Thunder Emperor print from that divine consciousness and was instantly surprised. He did not expect that the Thunder Emperor print that had fallen into the hands of the Soft Cloud clan had not only cultivated into an original spirit, but it was also the mountain spirit of the Soft Cloud mountain. That's right. I am the Thunder Emperor print, and also the mountain spirit of the Soft Cloud mountain. You must have come to the Soft Cloud mountain to capture me. The Thunder Emperor Prince's original spirit was very straightforward and directly revealed Su Fang's intentions. Su Fang replied indifferently, Since you know my intentions, you should know that it is impossible for you to resist. Come with me. You possess the Thunder Lake original realm, and your aura makes me very afraid. It is indeed difficult for me to resist your will. However, I have a request. Sir, please help the Soft Cloud Mountain to resolve this calamity. I will obey you in everything. Why should I help the Soft Cloud Mountain? Although it is difficult for me to disobey you, I have a way to destroy the Thunder Emperor print and make you return empty-handed. Furthermore, my conditions are as easy as lifting a finger for Milord. Deal. Fangzai agreed very straightforwardly. The huge trouble that the Soft Cloud Mountain was facing was indeed nothing to him. Thank you, sir. No need to thank me. This is just a deal. Su Fangzai said. Fangzai took a step forward and flashed into the heavy fog. Shui-man was wantonly devouring the Soft Cloud Mountain's cultivators. Her evil laughter, which was filled with delight, echoed continuously in the Soft Cloud Mountain. Su Fangzai's cold voice suddenly sounded. Lady Shui-man, you are very proud. Su Fang? Impossible. I must be hallucinating. How can that human cultivator appear in the Soft Cloud Mountain? Shui-man's entire body and the blood vines were trembling. That's right. To her, Su Fang was a nightmare. Moreover, it was a nightmare that appeared again and again. It was a nightmare that she could not get rid of. Very quickly. Shui-man reacted quickly. I have already recovered to my peak. Even if that human really came to the Soft Cloud Mountain, I should be happy. Why should I be afraid of him? I am afraid that I have disappointed you again this time. You will not be happy when you see me. Su Fangzai said. Fangzai smiled embarrassedly, and a wave of divine power surged out of his body. The heavy fog surrounding them started to roll and disperse in an instant. Su Fang's figure was revealed. Su Fang, it's really you? Shui-man was shocked and surprised at first. Then, she was surprised and delighted. However, when she sensed Su Fang's aura, the ecstasy on her face instantly turned into disbelief. Shui-man stammered, Daozu? And you are a powerful Daozu expert. How can you improve so much in such a short time? Su Fangzai said. Fangzai looked at Shui Man. You never thought that the weak human cultivator from back then would surpass you now, right? Su Fang, don't go too far. Shui Man gnashed her teeth. The bloody light in her eyes surged with incomparable resentment. In order to avoid you, I fled from the human world to here. You actually chased me all the way to the soft cloud mountain. The arrogant and domineering sky-piercing Blood King Vine's mother body in the past was now scared to this extent. Su Fang laughed involuntarily. Don't misunderstand. I am not here to kill you. You are not worthy of me spending so much effort on you. Haha. You can only blame your bad luck. You said yourself that I am your nightmare. No matter where you run, you can't escape from me. Shui Man shouted, You are going too far. I will fight you to the death. Chapter 3240. The Soft Cloud Clan's cultivators were surprised to see Su Fang, a member of a foreign race, appear on Soft Cloud Mountain. Then, they saw the heaven-piercing Blood King Vine's mother body, which had been so ferocious and vicious just a moment ago, suddenly become so afraid of Su Fang. It was like a rabbit seeing a tiger. The Soft Cloud Clan's cultivators couldn't help but be shocked. I have no choice but to accept it. Even if I return to my peak state, I'm still no match for you. Shui Man's ferocious aura disappeared, and she looked pitiful. However, after that, he turned to Su Fang and pleaded, considering that this seat had once saved you, and that this seat's bloodline is still in your body, this seat will leave now. If I see you in the future, I will hide as far away as possible. Su Fang said indifferently, I'm sorry. I've already promised Shan Ling that I'll help the Soft Cloud Clan. If I let you go, you'll come back very soon. At that time, the Soft Cloud Clan will be doomed. Therefore, I can't let you go. Su Fang, don't push me too far. Do you really think I won't dare to fight you to the death? I'll fight you to the death this time. Shui Man let out a furious roar. The blood vines danced in the air and shot toward Su Fang. God! Bang! Bang! The blood-red vines exploded one after another, turning into countless strands of blood that instantly filled the entire mountain. While Shui Man's true body transformed into a blood vine. With a whoosh, it drilled into the void and was about to escape. Do you think you can escape? Su Fang smiled embarrassedly. The Royal Heaven Avatar unleashed a divine aura that enveloped the entire area. At this moment, under the divine aura of the Royal Heaven Avatar, the strands of blood that filled the sky and the blood vine that had drilled halfway into the void lost their ability to devour and penetrate. Then, they were sealed by the runes formed by the Royal Heaven Avatar. Next, Su Fang activated the longevity lamp and devoured Shui Man's soul, turning it into oil for the longevity lamp. Just like that, the heaven-piercing Blood King Vine's mother body died. Everyone, the cultivators of the Soft Cloud Clan, watched as Su Fang killed Shui Man as easily as killing a chicken. They were all shocked. Everyone looked at Su Fang with eyes full of respect, but they did not understand the purpose of Su Fang's visit. They were afraid that Su Fang would end up like the heaven-piercing Blood King Vine's main body. That Daozu flew towards Su Fang, cupped his fists and bowed, "Thank you for saving my Soft Cloud Clan. It's just a deal with the mountain spirit. There's no need to thank me," said Su Fang indifferently. Then, he shouted at Zhu Shan, "Shanling, it's time for you to fulfill your promise." Oni bolt of lightning flashed, and after a while, it transformed into a woman. The woman was surrounded by fog, and only a vague outline could be seen. She gave off a mysterious and sacred feeling. However, that layer of mist could not obstruct Su Fang's vision. Through the mist, he could clearly see the woman's face. Female, her appearance could be said to be flawless, her figure was petite and exquisite, and she had a head of black hair that flickered with a strange luster that hung down to her waist. Su Fang sensed that it was not real hair, but threads of thunder. Every thread of thunder contained a profound aura of the great way of thunder. The woman did not have a trace of life. Her entire body was formed by the soft cloud world's origin energy. Greetings, Shan Ling. Many cultivators of the Soft Cloud clan knelt towards the woman. Their eyes were filled with worship and respect. Daozu of the Soft Cloud clan had his eyes glued to the mountain spirit ever since she appeared. His eyes were filled with love as if he was infatuated. Su Fang sensed the mountain spirit and could feel the Thunder Emperor seal's aura. However, it was very scattered and very different from the first Thunder Emperor seal. He raised his eyebrows and asked in a low voice, "Where is the Thunder Emperor seal?" "Don't be anxious, Lord." As the mountain spirit nodded, strands of hair fell from her head. Chi. Zap. Zap. It's the Thunder Emperor seal. Su Fang waved his hand and grabbed the Thunder Emperor seal. After sensing it carefully, he confirmed that it was indeed the Thunder Emperor seal. He was instantly relieved. Zap. The second Thunder Emperor seal was in his hands. He wanted to keep the Thunder Emperor seal in the Dao Palace. He sensed that after the Thunder Emperor seal was removed from Shan Ling's body, her aura quickly became weak and was about to dissipate. Obviously, the Thunder Emperor seal was like Shan Ling's physical body. Now that her physical body and origin spirit were separated, she would not be able to survive. Su Fang raised his eyebrows and asked, "You are the Thunder Emperor seal's origin spirit. After leaving the Thunder Emperor seal, you will vanish into thin air. Why aren't you entering the Thunder Emperor seal?" Shan Ling smiled. "Thank you for your kindness, Lord. I will stay in the Soft Cloud world. I will not follow you to the Thunder Lake original realm." Su said coldly, "Do you know that you will completely disappear like this?" Shan Ling said calmly, "Of course I know. Are you not afraid of death?" "Of course I am." Shan Ling sighed faintly. "Although I am the Thunder Emperor seal's origin spirit, I was born after coming to the Soft Cloud world and absorbing its essence. The Soft Cloud race gave birth to me and raised me. If I leave the Soft Cloud race, I am no different from dying. Rather than that, why don't you let me disappear from the Soft Cloud world? Lord, you have already obtained the Thunder Emperor seal. Without my Thunder Emperor seal, it will not affect you at all. Lord, please be magnanimous and let me go." Fang frowned. The Soft Cloud race's youth, Daozu, understood. He gritted his teeth and roared at Su Fang, "Hand over the Thunder Emperor seal. Otherwise, I will not rest until you are dead." Shan Ling said gently, "Yun Sha, don't be rude to Lord. If Lord did not make a move, the Soft Cloud race would have been destroyed by the heaven-piercing Blood King Vine. How can you be rude to Lord? Moreover, I am doing this willingly. It has nothing to do with Lord." "I don't care." The youth's eyes burned with flames. His face was distorted and looked terrifying. "Yun Sha, are you not going to listen to me?" Qingling asked. He looked at Shan Ling. The anger in his eyes had disappeared and was replaced by deep affection. "Shan Ling, don't you understand my feelings? If I lose you, what is the point of living?" Shan Ling asked. Shan Ling looked at the youth. Her eyes became gentle and filled with love. She sighed and said, "You fool! How can I not understand your feelings? Although I am just a primordial spirit, I also know about love. However, I am not a living being. Now I will stay in Royun world and merge with the Sea of Clouds. From now on, I can accompany you day and night. Of course, I want to accompany you day and night. However, I want you to live even more." Yun Sha's face was covered in tears. However, he then looked at Su Fang. His eyes were filled with deep affection, pain, and madness. Su Fang was shocked. At this moment, the figures of Goddess Luo and Xuanxin flashed across Su Fang's mind. The scenes of him interacting with them in the Pan Tsang universe kept flashing in his mind. Although Su Fang had already severed his good corpse, his Dao heart was still calm. However, he could still feel the love. Yun Sha smiled bitterly. He laughed crazily and said, "You are very powerful. To you, I am just an ant. However, I have the determination to die with Shan Ling. If you don't hand over the Thunder Emperor seal, I will fight you to the death. As soon as he finished speaking, layers of clouds surged out of his body. They rolled and boiled like burning flames. They exploded with a mysterious heavenly Tao that covered everything. He actually started to burn himself. He wanted to fight Su Fong to the death. Very touching, haha. I just don't know if your so-called love will still persist like this in the face of death. Su Fong smiled embarrassedly. A powerful killing intent suddenly exploded. It enveloped Yun Sha's body and attacked his Tao heart. Yun, although Sha was the strongest expert of the soft cloud race, he was just an ordinary Daozu. Under Su Fong's killing intent, he could not even burn himself. His body trembled. His Tao heart was shaking. His will started to collapse. Mountain Ling hurriedly kowtowed to Su Fong. She said with a trembling voice, "Lord, please spare Yun Sha." Sha gritted his teeth and shouted, "Shan Ling, don't beg him. Since we are going to die, I will accompany you." Su Fong said indifferently, "I will give you a chance. I have a supreme forbidden technique that can strip the life of a Daozu expert and create a physical body for Shan Ling. This way she can live. However, you will have to give up your physical body. You will only be left with your original soul. You will have to reincarnate and cultivate again. All your cultivation will be gone. Are you willing?" Yun Sha was overjoyed. He agreed without hesitation. "I agree." Mountain Ling shouted, "Yun Sha, you are the strongest expert of the soft cloud race. You are also the only Daozu. If you reincarnate, the soft cloud race will completely decline. It might even be destroyed. How can you be so selfish? If you die, how can I live?" Yun Sha hesitated. He was in a dilemma. Su Fong sneered. "Why? Are you reluctant to give up your physical body? Or are you unable to give up your people?" I. Yun Sha became dispirited all of a sudden and smiled miserably. "I can't bear to tease a love-struck person like you. I am not a ruthless person. I will grant you your wish this time," Su Fong said. Fong smiled embarrassedly and retracted his will. Then, he asked Yun Sha, "Let me ask you one more time. If Shan Ling becomes ugly, will you still be so confident?" Yun Sha was shocked. Sha was both surprised and overjoyed. He said resolutely, "No matter what Shan Ling becomes, even if he becomes an evil spirit, I will never change." "Don't go back on your words," Su Fong said. Fong stretched out his right hand. Blood qi surged in his palm. It turned into a ball of pure, high-level life energy. This ball of life energy was formed by Su Fong using the heaven-piercing blood king vines to devour the lives of the Daozu experts of the Tensei people. It contained a vast amount of life energy. It was even more powerful than Yun Sha, an ordinary Daozu. Su Fong waved his hand. The life energy flew towards Shan Ling. Origin Shan Ling, who was about to dissipate, turned into a ball of blood mist. Then, Su Fong sent the blood mist, together with the mountain spirit, into the body of the heaven-piercing blood king Rat Tan after its death. Again he took out the Heaven Edict Stone. Imperial Edict. The Heaven Edict Stone floated above Shan Ling's head. It released rays of golden Xian Guang, forming a rune. "Divine art, grant life," Su Fong said. Fong let out a majestic voice. The golden rune entered Xian Man's body. Chapter 3241. This was the other ability of the punishing heaven Dharma body. It could give cultivators talent and even life. This heaven-defying ability was more than 100 times, or even 10,000 times more powerful than those ordinary divine grace technique. Imperial. The heaven Dharma body's ability was like creating life. Only immortal realm cultivators who had mastered the essence of life could have such an ability. It was not difficult for cultivators to take over a body. Shan Ling was an original spirit after all, not a cultivator's primordial spirit. Giving an original spirit a body was equivalent to turning a spirit into a living body. It was not something that could be done by any divine power. Su Fang activated the longevity lamp. He extracted a pure soul power and injected it into the heaven-piercing Blood King Vine's body. Under the power of the Imperial Sky Stone, it quickly merged with Shan Ling's original spirit. In this way, the mountain spirit would have an origin soul. Big about 6 hours later. Ru! Man suddenly opened her eyes. There was no evil in her eyes. Instead, they were clear and full of spirituality. Yun Sha and the other Soft Cloud Clan cultivators were stunned. They all knelt down and worshipped Su Fang. It was as if they were facing an immortal realm cultivator. After a moment of confusion, Xueman's eyes were filled with shock. Then, she was overjoyed. However, when she sized up her entire body, she was dumbstruck again. She said, "My lord, can you help me change my physical body? This heaven-piercing Blood King Rattan's physical body is really too ugly." Actually, Xueman was not ugly. On the contrary, the state of her physical body had a different kind of charm. However, Xueman's body was covered with blood marks. Together with her bloody hair, she looked completely different from the other Soft Cloud Clan cultivators. Naturally, she was ugly. Su Fang Hung snorted and said, "To save your life, I not only performed the Divine Grace technique, but also consumed a large amount of life essence and soul energy to help you reconstruct your body and soul. How dare you be so picky?" Ling stammered. This. Yun Sha woke up from his shock and was overjoyed. He knelt down to Su Fang. "Thank you, Lord. Shan Ling, hurry up and thank him. No matter what you look like, I like it. I like your current look the most." Ha ha. Helpless, Ling could only follow Yunsha and kowtow to Su Fang. Su Fang was in a great mood, and his Tao heart was also open-minded. He could not help but laugh loudly. Then, he sucked the Thunder Emperor seal into the Tao Palace and sealed it. Then, he suddenly activated the power of destiny, which condensed into a blade and slashed at Shan Ling, completely severing her karmic connection with the Thunder Emperor's mark. He then sent a thought into the mountain spirit's body. Cloud Sha asked worriedly, "My lord, don't be afraid. This is also for the good of your Soft Cloud Clan. After some time, a powerful person will come to the Soft Cloud Clan. I will leave behind this thought to deal with him." He had come to Su Fang to guard against Zhou Nu. Wait, if Zhou Nu arrived at the Soft Cloud Clan and could not find the Thunder Emperor imprint, he might destroy the Soft Cloud Clan in a fit of rage. Therefore, leaving this thought behind was just a precaution. Su He took a step forward and disappeared into the vast sea of clouds. "The Soft Cloud Clan will forever remember my lord's kindness." Ling, Yunsha, and the other Soft Cloud Clan cultivators kowtowed in the direction where Su Fang had disappeared. Su Fang came to the edge of the Soft Cloud world and took out the Thunder Emperor imprint. With the origin of the Thunder Lake original realm was activated and released a void aura, which was sensed by the Thunder Lake original realm. A distorted divine power descended from the Thunder Lake original realm and sucked Su Fang into it, returning him to the Thunder Lake original realm. As soon as he appeared, Realm Spirit walked out slowly in front of him. "It seems that your luck is not bad. You obtained the second Thunder Emperor imprint so easily," Fang said. "My luck is not bad. I hope that the other 3 Thunder Emperor imprints can be obtained as easily as these 2. Ling said bluntly, "I'm afraid you won't be so lucky." Fang raised his eyebrows. "Why?" Realm Spirit said embarrassedly, "The remaining 3 Thunder Emperor imprints are either in the land of extremists or in the hands of an undying force. What's worse is that the junior of the Tensei people has already reached the 9th lotus platform of the 4th heaven." Su Fang felt a sense of urgency. He took out the jade scroll that Realm Spirit gave him and studied it carefully. However, he frowned. "Lord Realm Spirit, 2 Thunder Emperor imprints are in the hands of an undying force. I can still find a way to get them. However, the other one is in a broken spacetime. I can't enter it at all. How can I get it?" Why would the Thunder Lake original realm set such a difficult test for you? That Thunder Emperor imprint is indeed in a broken spacetime. Even the Thunder Lake original realm can't send you in directly. However, there are other ways to enter. Lord Realm Spirit, please enlighten me. Even if you don't ask, I'll tell you. Realm Spirit explained to Su Fang. The broken spacetime where the Thunder Emperor imprint was originally a spacetime created by an undying force from a chaotic race. That race was called the Divine Sycamore Race, and they once had an undying force. Although they weren't considered a higher race, they were still a powerful race with extraordinary strength. They were also famous for their wealth of treasures. However, for some unknown reason, that undying force offended a higher race, and was sealed by the undying force from the higher race. The undying force had eternal life. They couldn't die or be destroyed, but they could still be sealed. The deity that was why the Divine Sycamore Race was annihilated. Even the spacetime created by the undying force was destroyed. It was isolated from the outside world, and became a land of extremists. According to it was said that the Divine Sycamore Race's ruins of God contained the inheritance of the Divine Sycamore Race and countless treasures. It was a pity that no one could enter it. Realm Spirit suddenly stared at Su Fang. Actually, the Divine Sycamore Race has a deep karma with you. Su Fang couldn't help but be stunned. This is the first time I've heard of the Divine Sycamore Race. How could I have any karma with them? The Divine Sycamore Race has a primordial heavenly treasure called the Longevity Lamp. You obtained it and cultivated it into a Dharma body. The Longevity Lamp? The Longevity Lamp came from the Divine Sycamore Race? Su Fang was shocked. He had never expected the Longevity Lamp to come from the Divine Sycamore Race. It was too unexpected. Look, the Longevity Lamp had hidden many things from him. He had to ask him properly when he came down. Answer. Su Fang was enlightened. The Longevity Lamp only appeared in the human world after the Chaos Heavenly Tide erupted. The treasures that erupted from the Chaos Heavenly Tide undoubtedly came from the Divine Sycamore Race. Lord, are you saying that we can enter the Divine Sycamore Race's ruins of God after the Chaos Heavenly Tide subsides? Every million years, the Western mystic divine realm would have a Chaos Heavenly Tide eruption. Countless treasures would erupt from it. Su Fang had obtained the Longevity Lamp during that Chaos Heavenly Tide eruption. He had also obtained all sorts of treasures, especially the Time Mirage. Because of that, he had obtained a great opportunity. He hadn't expected the Chaos Heavenly Tide to come from the Divine Sycamore Race. Realmling nodded and said, "You are indeed smart. This is the only way to enter the Divine Sycamore Race's ruins of God. In another 1,000 years, the Divine Sycamore Race's shattered spacetime will erupt again. After the eruption, the Chaos Heavenly Tide will recede. You can then take the opportunity to enter the Divine Sycamore Race's ruins of God and search for the Thunder Emperor seal." Su Fang thought for a while and asked, "The Chaos Heavenly Tide erupts once every million years. Won't I have to wait for 1,000,000 years in the ruins of God before I can escape during the Chaos Heavenly Tide? Won't that exceed the time limit?" "No worries. As long as you enter the Divine Sycamore Race's ruins of God, the Thunderlock Original Realm will be able to sense your spacetime location through the origin aura in your Tao Palace. Then, you will be brought back to the Thunderlock Original Realm from the ruins of God. There are only 1,000 years before the Chaos Heavenly Tide erupts. It seems like I have no other choice but to obtain the Thunder Emperor seal from the Divine Sycamore Race first." Su Fang indeed had no other choice now. The other 2 Thunder Emperor seals were in the hands of the Immortal Realm expert. He might not be able to obtain them in a short time. But if he missed the timing of the Chaos Heavenly Tide's eruption, he would have to wait another 1,000,000 years. That would mean that he had failed the test and would be wiped out by the Thunderlock Original Realm. Su Fang immediately said, "Please send me back to the human world, my lord." "Go, I hope you'll be as lucky as the previous 2 times." As the Realm Spirit nodded, He activated the Thunderlock Original Realm's divine power to envelop Su Fang and send him out of the Thunderlock Original Realm. West in the chaos of the mystic divine territory, a heavenly gate formed by lightning appeared out of thin air. Su Fang's figure flashed out of it. However, he flew straight to the place where the chaos heavenly tide had erupted. There are so many foreign race experts? Master Dongxian is here too. Su Fang came to a halt when he arrived at the chaotic void not far from where the chaos heavenly tide had erupted. Many experts had gathered around the area where the chaos heavenly tide had erupted. They were mainly Daozu experts from the 12 races and the human race. Dongxian Daozu, Dark Mother Daozu, Tiansu, and other human experts were all there. How dare the 12 races return to the Western mystic divine territory? Are they tired of living? Su Fang smiled but did not make a move. It would not be too late to make a move after figuring out what was going on. However, the 12 races had suffered a great loss last time. Now that the Daozu experts dared to appear in the Western mystic divine territory, they must have something to rely on. He immediately activated his destiny avatar and concealed his aura. After sensing for a while, Su Fang saw some clues. Among the Daozu experts from the 12 races, there were a few unfamiliar and extremely powerful auras. Obviously, after the previous heavy loss, the 12 races had sent powerful experts to reinforce them. Among them, there was a Daozu pinnacle expert from the Blood Jia clan. His aura was void, but there was a faint eternal aura that only immortal experts had. He was a peerless expert who was only one step away from the immortal realm. Sudongxuan Daozu transmitted his divine thought, Master. Su Fang, you've returned from the Thunderlock Original Realm? Dongxian Daozu was pleasantly surprised. Su Fang being able to come out safely from the Thunderlock Original Realm proved that he had successfully passed the test of the fourth heaven. How could Dongxian Daozu not be surprised? Su Fang briefly explained the test in the Thunderlock Original Realm. However, he then asked, what happened? Why are the human Daozu and the experts of the 12 races here? Isn't it because of the Chaos Heavenly Tide? You've obtained the Longevity Lamp and various fortunes from the Chaos Heavenly Tide. The Chaos Heavenly Tide is about to erupt again. The 12 races plan to enter the source of the Chaos Heavenly Tide to search for treasures. Chapter 3242. Looking at the Daozu, Su Fang's eyes flashed with killing intent. The Lightning Emperor seal was related to his life and the survival of the entire human race. He could not afford to make any mistake. No one knew what kind of accident would happen when the 12 races entered the Divine Sycamore race's ruins. Su Fang planned to kill all the Daozu before the Chaos Tide erupted. He wanted to avoid any complications after entering the Divine Sycamore race's ruins. Even if it was a risk, it was worth it. Dongxian Daozu sensed Su Fang's killing intent and hurriedly advised, Su Fang, don't act rashly. One of the 12 races has a primordial heavenly treasure. He used to threaten me and the other Daozu. Su Fang was shocked. A primordial heavenly treasure? That's right. That primordial heavenly treasure is extraordinary. Its power is definitely not inferior to the longevity lamp. Fortunately, that Daozu does not use the primordial heavenly treasure without restraint. Therefore, he does not want to fight with the human race before the Chaos Tide erupts. Otherwise, I'm afraid that I and the other Daozu will suffer heavy losses. Not many of us will be able to survive. Humph. If there's a chance, I want to see what kind of powerful treasure it is. Su Fang snorted and dismissed the idea of attacking. That's right. Fang Fang had a primordial heavenly treasure and an extremely powerful expert. Although Su Fang was not afraid, he was very confident that he could kill all of them. He could only give up and wait until he entered the ruins of God. After the human race knows the 12 races' goal, they also plan to enter the ruins of God. Who knows, they might be able to obtain the inheritance of a powerful race. There's no need. The divine sycamore race's ruins of God is extremely dangerous. It's not worth taking the risk now. Master, ask the human Daozu to leave quickly. I can go in alone. You want to enter the Chaos Tide's source too? Dongxian Daozu was not surprised. This is the test of the Thunder Lake's original realm's fifth heaven. I see. Be careful. Xian Daozu immediately sent a voice transmission to the other human Daozu, then left in embarrassment. That some of the Daozu were surprised to see the sudden departure of the humans, but they did not take it to heart. There were as many as 23 Daozu warriors from the two races, but none of them noticed Su Fang in the distance. Su Fang's destiny's celestial body had the ability to deceive fate. If he wanted to hide his aura, no one would be able to discover his existence except for immortal realm experts. Su He teleported away from the area where the chaos heavenly tide erupted. Then, he hid in the void. There was still some time, so he just had to wait patiently. Just while Su Fang was in the western profound divine domain, and was preparing to enter the divine sycamore race's ruins of God, Zhou Nua had also completed the test of the fourth heaven and entered the divine origin pool. God Su Fang had absorbed more than half of the life force in the Genesis reservoir, and what he had absorbed was the essence, while the remaining was some leftover water. However, this was still a great blessing for Zhou Nua. However, Nua did not care about the rewards of the divine origin pool. The moment he woke up, he could not wait to enter the fifth layer of heaven. Domain He slowly explained the contents of the fifth layer of Spirit General's test to Zhou Nua. The fifth layer of heaven's test is my chance. Zhou Nua's heart surged with a fierce aura. The fifth layer of heaven's test required him to search for the Thunder Emperor seal among the Chaos races, which was obviously beneficial to Zhou Nua. But outside the Thunder Lake original realm, he could also borrow the strength of the Tensei people. Not only could he obtain the Thunder Emperor seal, but he could also seize the opportunity to kill Su Fang. He had been surpassed by Su Fang time and time again, and even had his immortal sky heart jade stolen. Even his father and many other Tensei people had been captured by Su Fang. How could Zhou Nua not feel hatred? Even more. Moreover, the Thunder Emperor's seal was related to his own life and death. Now that he finally had the chance to surpass Su Fang, Zhou Nua naturally would not miss it. Lord Realm Spirit, may I ask how many Thunder Emperor seals Su Fang has obtained? Restricted by the rules, I cannot tell you. Where did Su Fang go? I cannot tell you. Zhou Nua originally planned to find out more information about Su Fang from Realm Spirit. This way, he would be able to make fewer unnecessary trips. Who knew that Realm Spirit would be so tight-lipped, causing Zhou Nua's wishful thinking to fail? He had no choice. He had to go to every place where the 5 Thunder Emperor seals were located. He could not miss a single place. Zhou Nua grabbed the 5 jade slips and pondered for a while before making a decision. Please send me to the Soft Clouds clan. Zhou Nua's first choice was the Soft Clouds clan. He planned to go to the places where it was easiest to obtain the 2 Thunder Emperor seals. Even if it was a wasted trip, it was fine. As you wish. Realm Spirit directly activated the divine power of the Thunder Lake original realm and sent Zhou Nua to the Soft Clouds clan. Wait. Zhou Nua disappeared from the Thunder Lake original realm. Realm Spirit smiled embarrassedly. This junior of the Tensei people is probably going to suffer a little this time. Whoosh! The moment Zhou Nua appeared at the Soft Clouds clan, he immediately activated the origin of the Thunder Lake original realm to sense the aura of the Thunder Emperor seal. The Soft Clouds clan's Thunder Emperor seal had already been taken away by Su Fang. Zhou Nua naturally could not sense the Thunder Emperor seal's aura at all. However, he would not be satisfied if he did not confirm it. Although he could not sense the Thunder Emperor seal's aura, he still teleported directly into the depths of the Soft Clouds clan. As he approached the Soft Clouds mountain, whoosh whoosh whoosh, the surrounding fog surged wildly and covered the sky, instantly enveloping Zhou Nua. Of course, this was not an ordinary fog. Cloud the Soft Clouds clan's fog had the ability to deceive cultivators' senses. An extremely powerful maze formation was hidden within the thick fog. With the combination of the fog and the maze formation, even with Zhou Nua's strength, it would be very difficult for him to escape from the formation. How dare a mere Soft Clouds clan treat me like this? When I break through the formation, I will definitely exterminate your Soft Clouds clan. Zhou Nua was trapped in the formation, but he did not panic. Instead, he threatened with a murderous aura. Young Commandery Prince Zhou Nua, you should think about how to survive first before thinking about exterminating the Soft Clouds clan. The fog suddenly parted. The figure formed by this thought slowly flew out. It was the thought that Su Fang had left behind when he left the Soft Clouds clan. Su Fang, so you're the one behind all this. Realization dawned on Zhou Nua. Then, he snorted disdainfully. If your true body was here, I might be afraid and would have to fight with my life on the line. Now it's just a mere thought. What can you do to me? Su Fang smiled embarrassedly. Why would I have to do it myself? I only need to use the formation and the power of Yun Ro's world to trap you here for a period of time. Once I obtain all the Thunder Emperor's seals, I won't even need to do anything. You will naturally be killed by the Thunder Lake original realm. Zhou Nua's divine light instantly changed. Without hesitation, he activated the Rui heavenly treasure and released an astonishing power of time. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The surrounding time flowed 10,000 times faster. No matter how powerful a formation was, it would quickly dissipate and collapse under the power of time. It would be difficult for it to withstand the test of time. The surrounding fog began to disappear layer by layer, and the formation also began to rapidly collapse. About 2 hours later, Zhou Nua finally used the primordial heavenly treasure to kill his way out of the fog and arrived in the sky above the Soft Clouds mountain. When he took a deep breath, the surrounding fog rolled and surged toward him again. Su Fang, when I see you, I'll tear you to pieces, Zhou Nua shouted coldly. He didn't dare to stay any longer and immediately activated the Thunder Lake original realm's origin. Boom! Rumble! Cloud! Thunder rumbled in the sky above the Soft Clouds mountain. Lightning surged out and condensed into a heavenly gate that sucked Zhou Nua into it. Su Fang's illusory figure smiled embarrassedly and disappeared into the fog. He also knew how powerful Zhou Nua was, and that it would be difficult to trap him in the Soft Clouds clan. Therefore, he had the Soft Clouds clan create a formation and added this illusory figure to scare Zhou Nua and prevent the Soft Clouds clan from suffering. To the Fuyu clan. Once Zhou Nua returned to the Thunder Lake original realm, he gritted his teeth and shouted. Then, he was sent out of the Thunder Lake original realm by the realm spirit. The Fuyu clan is a vassal race of a higher race. Su Fang might not dare to come to the Fuyu clan to steal the Thunder Emperor seal. Even if he comes, he won't be able to get it in a short time. We have 9 immortal beings among the Tensei people. We are even more powerful than the Fuyu clan. If I pay a higher price, will the supreme expert of the Fuyu clan not obediently hand over the Thunder Emperor seal? Zhou Nua arrived outside the divine capital of the Fuyu clan and looked at the divine capital. His eyes were filled with incomparable arrogance and dominance. Whoosh! Zhou Nua flew straight to the gate of the divine capital. Tensei people? That young man is actually a Tensei people. The cultivators waiting in front of the gate to enter the divine capital were all surprised and shocked when they saw that Zhou Nua was a Tensei people cultivator. Swoosh! Swoosh! Everyone! They all scattered to the side as if they were avoiding the plague. In the end, they are just some low-level races who have never seen the world. They are all so respectful when they see me. Zhou Nua sneered disdainfully in his heart. His expression became even more arrogant, as if he was looking down on all races. The area before the gate of the divine capital quickly became empty. Zhou Nua walked to the gate calmly. Just as he was about to enter the divine capital, a Dao Profound Realm cultivator guarding the gate shouted, "You are from the Tensei people?" Hearing the lack of respect in the other party's tone, Zhou Nua raised his eyebrows and said indifferently, "I am the young prince of the Tensei people. I came to the Fuyu clan under the orders of my race's immortal to meet the supreme expert of the Fuyu clan." The Dao Profound Realm cultivator sized Zhou Nua up with a surprised look and said, "Wait a moment." Then, he took out a rune talisman and transmitted his Yuan spirit voice. Zhou Nua stood in front of the gate with his hands behind his back. His expression was arrogant. The arrogance and dominance of a higher race was fully displayed. No. In less than 10 breaths, the gate suddenly opened. Figures with ethereal auras shuttled out of the gate. 1. There were more than 20 Fuyu cultivators. Among them there were 12 Daozu. Almost all of the Fuyu clan's powerhouses were here. Zhou Nua wasn't surprised. He smiled and said, "I am just a junior. Why do you have to make such a big fuss? You are too polite and too grand." He thought that these Fuyu powerhouses were here to welcome him. Chapter 32-43. What's going on? Nua finally sensed that something was wrong from the old man's tone. Just as he was about to speak, the old man suddenly unleashed a shocking will and power that struck Nua. Nua was sent flying and spat out 3 mouthfuls of blood. His aura instantly weakened. Fortunately, his life force was strong enough and he had merged with the Dao heart of Daozu. Otherwise, his Dao heart would have been shattered. "You! How dare you attack me for no reason? Do you know who I am? Do you want your race to be wiped out?" Nua was shocked and furious. He didn't expect that these Fuyu experts weren't here to welcome him. Instead, they were here to kill him. "Wipe out my race? I don't care who you are. I'll kill you first." A bald Fuyu expert roared angrily. Millions of thoughts transformed into a giant axe that was thousands of feet long. The axe hacked down at Nua with the power of the great Tao. Nua was shocked. He hurriedly activated his heavenly jade treasure and released a power that could stop time. The bald man's attack paused, and he took the opportunity to teleport thousands of miles away. Swoosh! Swoosh! Daozu of the Fuyu race chased after him. Nua yelled, "I'm the #1 genius of the Tensei people. I'm the future leader of the clan. How dare you attack me? Even an immortal expert can't protect the Fuyu race." Many Fuyu experts were stunned by Nua's identity. They surrounded Nua and sealed the space around him. Whoosh! A figure flew out of the void. It was none other than the supreme being of the Fuyu clan. "You're the young prince of the Tensei people?" The strongest Fuyu expert looked at Nua indifferently and said coldly, "What are you doing here?" Nua was relieved when he saw the strongest Fuyu expert. He cupped his fists and said, "I'm here to exchange a treasure with you." The strongest Fuyu expert chuckled. "Exchange a treasure? You mean the immortal Thunder God Seal?" "That's right. It's the immortal Thunder God Seal." Good. The Fuyu clan supreme being laughed out loud. Zhou Nua said, "As long as my lord gives the Lightning Emperor seal to me, the Tensei people will definitely satisfy my lord. I'll be satisfied if I chop off your head." All of a sudden, a strong intent of killing was released from the body of this Yu clan powerful being, along with a sky-devouring anger and hatred. His spirit power erupted like a volcano. Boom! Zhou Nua staggered and spat out another mouthful of blood as his body began to shatter. Even if you didn't agree to hand over the Lightning Emperor seal, why did you attack me?" Zhou Nua was both shocked and furious. His stomach was filled with grievance and resentment. "You Tensei people stole my immortal Thunder God seal, and now you come to my place and set me up again. Do you think that Fuyu clan people are easy to bully? Fuyu clan is not a higher race, but how can you, a Tensei people, tease and humiliate us like this? The supreme Fu Yu clan being gnashed his teeth in anger. After stealing the Lightning Emperor seal, the supreme Fu Yu clan supreme being had no choice but to swallow his anger because he feared the strength of the Tensei people. Now, a Tensei people cultivator came to the divine capital of Fu Yu clan and asked for the Lightning Emperor seal. How could the supreme Fu Yu clan supreme being continue to tolerate this? Yes. What else could he tolerate? He couldn't. A cultivator of my clan stole the Lightning Emperor seal? Zhou Nua was surprised at first, but he soon understood. He gnashed his teeth and said, Su Fang. It must be that Su Fang who pretended to be a cultivator of my clan and stole the Lightning Emperor seal from the Fu Yu clan. No wonder. Zhou Nua finally understood what was going on. At this moment, the hatred and anger he had for Su Fang could burn an entire mystic world. However, the most important thing right now was to run for his life. Before the supreme Fu Yu clan supreme being exploded in anger, Zhou Nua took out a talisman without hesitation. Since it wasn't an ordinary talisman, it was the most famous and powerful talisman of the Tensei people, the Instant Eternity Talisman. Although it wasn't an ordinary talisman of the Tensei people, but one of the Tensei people's seventh ancestor, who was an immortal expert, had personally made it for Zhou Nua to save his life. If indeed, Zhou Nua wouldn't take out this talisman unless he was in a life-or-death situation. Right now, he was in a life-or-death situation. Zhou Nua's eyes were filled with heartache as he crushed the talisman. An immortal power that could freeze everything swept out in all directions. The supreme Fu Yu clan master and the group of Dao ancestors all froze, as if someone had cast a spell on them. Even the time and space around them were frozen. Zhou Nua flew out from the encirclement of the Fu Yu clan supreme beings and teleported to the chaotic void. Zhou Nua activated the origin energy of the Lei Luo original realm in his Dao palace and was sensed by the Lei Luo original realm spirit. Su Fang, if I don't tear you into pieces and refine your soul for eternity, I swear I'm not human. Zhou Nua took out a pill and swallowed it to heal his injuries. His heart was filled with murderous intent. After calming down, he pondered for a while and asked the realm spirit. Zhou Nua quickly determined that Su Fang had no choice but to wait for the heaven tide to erupt in the Western Mystic Divine Domain. Lord Realm Spirit, please send me to the Western Mystic Divine Domain. Zhou Nua immediately made his decision and was teleported out of the Lei Luo original realm. Come. When he arrived at the chaotic void where the heaven tide was about to erupt, Zhou Nua didn't find Su Fang. Instead, he saw many supreme beings from the 12 races. Su Fang will definitely enter the divine sycamore race's ruins this time. Perhaps he's hiding nearby and doesn't dare to show himself. Zhou Nua calculated that Su Fang was nearby and flew toward the Daozu of the 12 races. Many of the Daozu of the 12 races recognized Zhou Nua and came forward to greet him. After figuring out the intentions of the 12 races' formidable martial artists, Zhou Nua said with a murderous aura, "This time, I will enter the divine sycamore race's ruins of God. Other than the Thunder Emperor seal, I will not take any other treasures. However, I have a condition. You have to help me kill Su Fang." Su Fang has killed countless experts of the 12 races. Even if the young prince didn't mention this condition, as long as he enters the divine sycamore race's ruins, I will definitely suppress him. I want to see what kind of ability a mere ant of the human race has to defy the heavens. One of the Daozu of the blood Jia race said coldly. Zhou Nua snorted and said, "Don't be careless. Su Fang is not only strong, but he also has the grand mist heavenly treasure, the longevity lamp. He's also very cunning." The blood Jia race expert sneered. Obviously, he didn't take Zhou Nua's words seriously. Zhou Nua is really here. Su Fang also noticed Zhou Nua's arrival and wasn't surprised. However, he couldn't kill Zhou Nua yet. Only if Zhou Nua died, the Tensei people would have nothing to worry about. At that time, the human race would be in big trouble. Wait. After about 1,000 years. Suddenly, the chaotic void was no longer as calm as before. Swoosh. 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 Zhou Nuo and the other alien race experts quickly distanced themselves from the center of the chaotic void. With their strength, they naturally didn't fear the power of the chaotic void. No. When the chaotic void erupted, the Daozu experts would cause chaos in the chaotic void if they entered. Because no matter what happened, the Daozu didn't dare to stay in the area covered by the chaotic void. Su Fang also stared at the chaotic void without blinking. Boom. Boom. Streams of turbid air, carrying countless pieces of matter, treasures and corpses, were ejected from the chaos of nothingness. Once again, the chaos tide erupted. There were many treasures in the eruption of the chaotic void. However, compared to the time when Su Fang obtained the longevity lamp, these treasures were much inferior. Su Fang didn't care about them now, so the alien race experts naturally didn't care about them either. The eruption of the chaotic void lasted for a few decades and gradually came to an end. Zhou Nuo and the other Daozu experts of the 12 races approached the chaotic void. Whoosh! After the void calmed down, the place where the chaotic void erupted suddenly began to collapse. The chaotic void flowed backward and formed a huge whirlpool, erupting with a shocking suction force. It was like a monster suddenly opened its mouth and wanted to swallow everything. Zhou Nuo and the other Daozu experts were hesitant. None of them had entered the divine sycamore race's ruins before. They didn't know what dangers awaited them there. Since you guys don't dare to go in, then I'll take my leave first. Su Fang was about to rush in when he suddenly sensed something and stopped abruptly. A red light flashed and flew directly above the huge whirlpool. Many experts were surprised, and they all looked over. It was a woman in a fiery red robe. However, she wasn't a human cultivator. Instead, she was a big goblin. Su Fang felt the woman's aura and couldn't help but be stunned. That woman was a divine phoenix, and Su Fang was very familiar with her aura. In order to improve his Dao heart, Su Fang traveled the Jiuquan divine domain. He once saved a divine phoenix in the Yuxian divine domain. It was a reborn divine phoenix. Here the woman who had appeared was none other than the divine phoenix. Red. The woman in red looked at Zhou Nuo and the other Daozu experts indifferently. Then, she allowed the whirlpool below to suck her in. It was as if she was swallowed by a monster and disappeared without a trace. Why did that divine phoenix enter the divine sycamore race's ruins? Since that divine phoenix dared to enter, it means that the divine sycamore race's ruins aren't dangerous. Let's go. Under the lead of the blood-gourd expert, the experts of the other races flew toward the whirlpool. Zhou Nuo looked around and was surprised when he didn't see Su Fang. In the end, he was swallowed by the whirlpool along with the other Daozu experts. Whoosh! Su Fang then, he teleported over and flashed into the whirlpool without hesitation. The shocking chaotic airflow wrapped around his body and sucked him in. A terrifying space-tearing force came from the surroundings. His physical body, Dao Palace, and even his soul essence were about to be torn apart. With Su Fang's current strength, he had no choice but to use all his strength to defend himself. He went with the flow and allowed the spacetime turbulence to roll him toward an unfamiliar spacetime. Also, he didn't know how long it lasted. Whoosh! Chapter 3244. Boom! Su Fang was swept away by the heaven tide. Before he could see the surroundings of the divine sycamore race's ruins clearly, a powerful time flow divine aura descended and enveloped him. Zhou Nuo. Su Fang was shocked. No. He didn't expect Zhou Nuo to set up an ambush in the divine sycamore race's ruins and attack the moment he appeared. It was obvious that Zhou Nuo had activated the Rui Xian Bao, and the time flow divine aura it released was truly shocking. Su Fang felt as if he had fallen into a swamp. The flow of time around him became extremely slow, and he couldn't escape at all. Su Fong just as he activated his primordial aura and was about to break free from the shackles of time, a blood-red pillar of light descended from the sky. Only a blood-red mirror floated in the sky, and it shot out rays of blood-red light that covered Su Fong and the surrounding 100 miles. That mirror was definitely not an ordinary Xianbao. It emitted an eternal aura that only a primordial heavenly treasure possessed. The blood-red light released by the mirror turned into a blood fog that constantly penetrated Su Fong's defenses. Su Fong felt his body melting rapidly, and he was about to turn into a lump of frozen blood. Even with Su Fong's powerful life force and his primordial aura defense, he couldn't block that powerful and strange power. It's that blood Jia race expert. He actually has such a powerful primordial heavenly treasure. Su Fong immediately guessed who the attacker was, and he was shocked. Su Fong, you are now trapped in the primordial heavenly treasure's divine aura. Accept your death obediently. Zhou Nua's figure slowly flew over, and he looked at Su Fong as he laughed proudly. Tight. Then, the Daozu experts from the 12 races flew over and surrounded Su Fong. Zhou Nua sneered and said, I had already expected that you would enter the divine sycamore race's divine ruins and had set up an ambush here in advance. You have indeed fallen for it. Obediently hand over the Thundertharch seal in your hands and release the formidable martial artists of my race. I will let you die a quick death. Su Fong smiled embarrassedly and activated the heaven-piercing Blood King Vine, trying to penetrate the blood-red light shackles around him. Yunua's face slightly changed as he asked the Blood Jia clan warrior, that human has the heaven-piercing Blood King Rattan. He can pierce through the sky and the earth. Did you let him escape? The Jia clan warrior sneered disdainfully. The Hongmeng heaven treasure, the divine blood mirror, is the supreme treasure of our clan. Any living being that falls into the mirror will be frozen in no time. Unless they are immortal beings, they can never escape. So what if it's the heaven-piercing Blood King Vine? Could it be more powerful than a grand mist heavenly treasure? A Daozu of the Mayfly race clicked his tongue and sighed. I didn't expect that Lord Xueling would bring along the primordial heavenly treasure of the Blood Jia clan. The primordial heavenly treasure is indeed extraordinary. That human cultivator Su Fong has killed countless experts of the 12 clans. However, he was easily suppressed this time. The powerhouses of the other 12 races also began to offer their compliment. The Blood Jia clan warrior smiled proudly and continued to activate the primordial heavenly treasure to deal with Su Fong. Zhou Nua suddenly said, Lord Xueling, please wait. My father and over 10 Tensei people Daozu are trapped by this human cultivator. Don't let them be killed by the power of the primordial heavenly treasure. A blood-red light flashed across the eyes of the Blood Jia clan warrior named Xueling. He seemed to be in a difficult position. Whoosh. But, Su Fong sneered. Heaven-swallowing insect, devour. Su Fong transmitted the message to the heaven-swallowing insect. Hiss! Hiss! A ferocious hiss came from inside Su Fong's Dao Palace. Then, the heaven-swallowing insect flew out and opened its mouth to bite. Puff! Show! The heaven-swallowing insect bit a hole in the blood-red light shackles. But, the heaven-swallowing insect's enormous body was fully revealed. Not only did the heaven-swallowing insect's body become larger, but it also turned into a golden color. Its aura also became extremely terrifying, causing Xueling and the other powerhouses of the other races to tremble in fear. As soon as the heaven-swallowing insect appeared, it opened its mouth and bit fiercely, tearing the shackles around Su Fong into pieces. Then, it pounced on the blood transformation divine mirror. That is the heaven-swallowing insect. The Blood Jia clan warrior's expression changed instantly, and his eyes were filled with fear. In a few breaths' time, the heaven-swallowing insect had torn apart the shackles of the primordial heavenly treasure, blood transformation divine mirror, and rushed to the divine mirror. Then, it pounced on the divine mirror and began to gnaw on it. God! The heaven-swallowing insect was a glutton. There was almost nothing it did not eat. Xianbao, godstones, gems, spiritual items, and even spiritual qi. But it seemed to have a special liking for the primordial heavenly treasure. When it saw a primordial heavenly treasure, it was unusually excited. Hua! The blood transformation divine mirror was quickly bitten until its light dimmed and its power was gone. Seeing that the heaven-swallowing insect was about to break its defense, Xueling was so frightened that he quickly put it away. Looking at the heaven-swallowing insect, Xueling's blood-red eyes were filled with fear. Damn it! Why does that human have the heaven-swallowing insect? The blood transformation divine mirror is the most precious treasure of my clan. If it is damaged, it will endanger the prosperity of my clan. Forget it. At this moment, an ancient bronze lamp flashed out from between Su Fang's eyebrows. It was the longevity celestial body. Longevity lamp, let's go. Seeing the longevity lamp, the alien race experts who had seen the terrifying power of the longevity lamp before were all trembling. Even their origin souls were trembling as they teleported away. However, nearly half of the alien race experts, including Zhou Nua and Xueling, did not intend to run away because they were confident in their strength. Humph! Do you think you can defeat all the strong enemies with the longevity lamp? Not only did one alien race expert not run away, but he also charged at Su Fang. That alien race expert looked like he was from the Savage Dragon clan. His strength was at the peak of the Daozu clan. However, Su Fang, on the other hand, sensed a shocking aura of death from his aura. Strangely, the longevity celestial body did not sense this person's soul essence. You are a revived expert from the Savage Dragon clan. Su Fang was enlightened. The alien race, the secret and forbidden techniques of the Savage Dragon clan were endless. Some of them could revive experts who had died. Reviving low-level life forms in the universe was similar to reviving low-level life forms in the universe. Because these revived experts had died long ago, they were similar to corpse puppets. They did not have an origin soul. They only had an evil will and an extremely powerful body. This revived expert from the Savage Dragon clan actually had the strength of the Daozu clan at the peak of the Daozu clan. Moreover, he seemed to have intelligence that was no different from a normal person. Obviously, the Savage Dragon clan had spent a lot of energy and resources on him to cultivate him to such an astonishing level. Human brat, your longevity lamp is useless against me. You have no right to be arrogant. See how I will devour you. The revived expert from the Savage Dragon clan laughed wildly and revealed his white fangs like a monster. A terrifying death will and an evil aura of death swept towards Su Fang. My strength does not only come from the longevity lamp. Even without the longevity lamp, I can still easily suppress you. Su Fang revealed a domineering aura. With Su Fang's powerful will, he was naturally not afraid of the Savage Dragon clan experts' will attack. The evil aura of death and evil aura of death could not affect Su Fang's consciousness. He looked at the Savage Dragon clan expert and executed the Great Returning Ruins technique. Qi, qi, qi. A chaotic Xian Guang tore apart the surging evil aura of death and hit the revived expert from the Savage Dragon clan. The Savage Dragon clan expert was caught off guard. Under the unparalleled power of the Great Returning Ruins technique, his body started to shatter layer by layer and turned into nothingness. In less than 10 breaths, the revived expert from the Savage Dragon clan had completely turned into ashes and disappeared without a trace. Great! The power of the Great Returning Ruins technique was actually this powerful. Zhou, the eyes of Nua, Xueling, and the other experts from the Savage Dragon clan changed instantly. Only now did they realize that Su Fang's strength was far beyond their imagination. This person must not be left alive. Otherwise, he will be a great threat to the 12 clans. Join forces and kill him. Ling let out a cold shout filled with killing intent. The remaining 13 Daozu and Zhou Nua started to release their thoughts or activate the powerful Xian Guang and rune talismans. They were prepared to join forces to attack Su Fang. Su Fang sneered and started to condense the Great Returning Ruins technique again. The Great Creation technique was also ready to be used. Chang the life lamp was also prepared to be activated. Suddenly, an earth-shattering explosion came from the depths of the broken spacetime. The originally broken and chaotic spacetime fell into a great turmoil and became even more broken and chaotic. Following that, a scorching immortal aura swept out from the depths of the broken spacetime. No one knew what kind of treasure it was that its aura was actually so shocking. A rare treasure has appeared. A rare treasure has appeared in the divine Sycamore clan's ruins of God. That must be a primordial heavenly treasure. Ling and the other Daozu from the 12 clans looked at the depths of the spacetime. Although they were blocked by the chaotic spacetime and could not see anything, their eyes were still burning with desire. Young Prince Zhou Nua, in my opinion, it won't be too late to search for the treasure first before killing this human cultivator. Ling transmitted a message to Zhou Nua. Of course, Zhou Nua knew that Ling was clearly afraid of Su Fang's strength. He was even more afraid of Su Fang's heavenly devouring insects. He did not want to take the risk of fighting Su Fang again. That was why he was giving himself a way out. Forget it. Let him live for a while longer. When we get the Thunder Emperor seal in the ruins of God, we will think of a way to kill this human cultivator. Zhou Nua snorted. How could he not be afraid of Su Fang? Clang. Then, he and the other Daozu from the 12 clans flew into the depths of the spacetime. What kind of treasure is that? Su Fang raised his eyebrows and sucked the longevity lamp into his Dao palace. He was about to follow the other experts into the depths of the spacetime. This, the main purpose of coming to the divine Sycamore clan's ruins of God this time, was to get the Thunder Emperor seal. No. If he could get the divine Sycamore clan's treasure or even the inheritance, Su Fang would not miss it. Chang. The longevity lamp original spirit suddenly said in the Dao Palace, Master, I advise you not to join in the fun. There are no powerful treasures in the divine Sycamore clan's ruins of God. What appeared now is not a primordial heavenly treasure. There are no powerful treasures in the divine Sycamore clan's ruins of God. Su Fang was stunned and suddenly remembered the origin of the longevity lamp. If you didn't tell me, I would have forgotten to ask. Why didn't you tell me earlier that you are from the divine Sycamore clan? Master, you have never asked me before. That's true. Longevity lamp, tell me, what kind of person was your previous master? How did he get sealed? In the Thunder Lake original realm, Master found out the truth from the realm spirit. I have nothing to say. Since Master wants to know, I will tell you everything. Chang. Chapter 3245. The immortal realm expert of the divine Sycamore race was called Xin Wuzi, and he was also a rare genius. He was an ordinary cultivator and became an immortal realm expert, leading the divine Sycamore race to rise. Just like Xin Wuzi. Like most geniuses, Xin Wuzi was arrogant and had offended someone he shouldn't have. He was sealed in the heavenly Tao by 3 immortal realm experts. The divine Sycamore race declined rapidly because of that, and eventually they perished. The divine Sycamore race did have countless treasures back then, but after the chaos tides, they were left with very few. Su Fang asked in confusion, Longevity lamp, if Xin Wuzi was sealed, why did you stay in the divine Sycamore race? My previous master was too conceited. After he became an immortal realm expert, he didn't need my help, so he took me away and left me in the divine Sycamore race as a clan treasure. If not, he wouldn't have been sealed so easily. Later, in the battle that destroyed the divine Sycamore race, I fought with all my might to save the divine Sycamore race. However, without my master's control, I couldn't unleash my power. The enemy used a primordial heavenly treasure to break me into 2, and my primordial spirit fell into a deep slumber. If not for the chaos tides, I might have been buried in the ruins of God forever. Su Fang finally understood. At the same time, he was shocked. I didn't expect an immortal realm expert to be sealed. Master, don't think that you can do whatever you want after becoming an immortal realm expert. Although immortal realm experts have eternal lives and exist with the heavenly Tao, they can still be sealed by other experts. I'll remember that. Su Fang nodded. He also understood why the Ice Soul Holy Tribe was so cautious and didn't dare to offend the 12 races even though they had an immortal realm expert. The Leisha Original Realm is a great opportunity for you. Don't miss it. Think about it, if you become the master of the Leisha Original Realm, even immortal realm experts won't be able to do anything to you. If the human race moves to the Leisha Original Realm, the fate of the divine sycamore race and the soft cloud race won't happen to the human race. Su Fang looked into the depths of the shattered spacetime. Zhou Nua, Xueling, and the other formidable martial artists had already disappeared. He asked the longevity lamp, "Longevity, you said that the divine sycamore race no longer has any powerful treasures. Where did that aura that erupted earlier come from?" "That's a pair of divine birds that Xin Wuzi subdued back then. Later on, in the great battle, the male bird was sealed, and the female bird fought her way out. According to my conjecture, the divine phoenix that Master saved was the female bird that escaped from the divine sycamore race. It was severely injured and died before it was reborn." Rebirth. Fang was suddenly enlightened. Difficult. It was no wonder that the divine phoenix had taken advantage of the heavenly tide's eruption to enter the divine sycamore race's shattered spacetime. It was obvious that it had come for the sealed male bird. The longevity lamp continued, "Master, you have to be careful. That male bird is extremely powerful. Its strength is not weaker than ordinary immortal realm warriors, and it has an immortal body. If this subordinate's guess is correct, that primal chaos heavenly tide is most likely caused by the male bird attacking the seal. That's why it caused space-time to fluctuate and caused the primal chaos heavenly tide to erupt." "So powerful?" Su Fang was aghast. "Continue." Puzzled, he asked, "That rebirth? A reborn divine phoenix's strength is very ordinary. Why is the male bird so powerful?" "The divine phoenix is also known as an immortal bird. It can be reborn after death?" "Rebirth. The female bird that Master saved in the mystic darkness divine region is in the state of rebirth? In a weakened state after rebirth, its strength is naturally ordinary. Ordinary Daozu warriors can suppress it." "I see. I won't care about the other treasures of the divine sycamore race, but I must get the Thunder Emperor seal. That male bird is so powerful. It seems like a battle of life and death is inevitable. Let's go." Fang ended his conversation with the longevity lamp and slowly flew toward the depths of the shattered spacetime. Along the way, spacetime was shattered and collapsed. Spacetime was in disorder, and turbulence swept through. From time to time, the turbulence would shoot out, bringing with it material fragments and white bones. With Su Fang's strength, he had to be careful along the way. He could only fly and did not dare to teleport. About 3 months later, Su Fang traveled through layers of chaotic spacetime and arrived at the depth. Ding. He looked over. Only there was a huge whirlpool in the spacetime. It was moving up and down chaotically. Broken material fragments were floating in the turbulence, like the debris of the wave. Whirlpool. The center of the whirlpool was bottomless. No one knew what was hidden in it. From time to time, a shocking aura would shoot out from it. Time Nua, Xueling, and the other experts cast a barrier and stood in the whirlpool with their hands behind their back. They stared at the bottom of the whirlpool. First, some of the Daozu warriors searched in the whirlpool and found many treasures. There was no lack of king-grade Xian Bao among them. However, most of them were broken and could not be used anymore. Some of them were treasures that were not very useful to the Daozu warriors. These Daozu warriors were very disappointed. Su Fang activated the Thunder Lake Original Realm's origin to sense the aura of the Thunder Emperor seal. Nothi was not disappointed. Indeed, in the depths of the whirlpool, he sensed the aura of the Thunder Emperor seal. However, it was very weak and faintly discernible. The depths of the whirlpool is where the male bird is sealed. The Thunder Emperor seal is also there. Do we have to take the risk and go in to find the Thunder Emperor seal? Su Fang raised his eyebrows and stopped at the periphery of the whirlpool. The longevity lamp said that the male bird was very powerful. Su Fang did not dare to go in rashly. He could only wait and see. Zhou Nua, Xueling, and the other experts were also hesitating. Xueling said disappointedly, "There are no powerful treasures in the divine sycamore race's ruins of God. The aura erupting from the spacetime whirlpool is not a primordial heavenly treasure. It is an extremely powerful life form. It seems that we have made a wasted trip this time." A wasted trip? Not necessarily. Zhou Nua's eyes flashed with a hearty light. Even if there is a powerful life form hidden in the whirlpool, it is also shackled there. If we can subdue it, wouldn't it be a great fortune? Xueling's blood-red eyes flashed with a blood-red light. It was obvious that he was tempted. However, he said embarrassedly, "Subdue that powerful life form? Young Prince Zhou Nua is really bold. The aura of that life form is extremely shocking. It is very likely that it is an immortal divine beast. Even if it is shackled there, how can it be so easy to subdue it?" Zhou Nua said, "If we want to obtain treasures, how can we not take risks? There are so many experts from the 12 races. Moreover, Lord Xueling has a primordial heavenly treasure. I also have a half-step primordial heavenly treasure. We may have a chance to subdue that powerful life form." Xueling let out an inexplicable laugh. "Young Prince Zhou Nua wants the Thunder Emperor seal. Are you trying to use the experts from the 12 races as cannon fodder?" Zhou Nua snorted and said, "Since we are all smart people, I will not hide anything. We will work together to subdue that divine beast. Other than the Thunder Emperor seal, I will take 30% of the remaining treasures. Moreover, we will work together to kill Su Fang. Is Lord Xueling satisfied with these conditions?" "Deal." Xueling agreed without hesitation. Who knew Xueling before Xueling could finish his sentence? Whoosh! Suddenly, from the depths of the spacetime vortex, a high-pitched and excited cry sounded. Then, a ray of red light erupted from the depths of the vortex. The cry contained a shocking force of will. The Dao hearts of the foreign race experts in the vortex trembled when they heard it. A few of the weaker Daozu's Dao hearts immediately shattered. Although Zhou Nua's cultivation was weak, he had merged with the Dao heart of a Buddha race expert. This gave him a powerful will and Dao heart. Therefore, he was able to withstand the impact of the will. Far Su Fang, who was at the edge of the spacetime vortex, also felt his Dao heart tremble. However, it quickly returned to normal. Ming. While the cry was still echoing, the spacetime vortex began to tremble. Waves of air rushed into the sky and the entire vortex began to boil. Position the foreign race experts in the spacetime vortex hurriedly retreated from the vortex. Buzz. Buzz. Su Fang, the origin of the Luai's original realm in the Dao Palace, suddenly began to tremble. Thunder Emperor seal. It was the Thunder Emperor seal that caused the origin of the Luai's original realm to tremble. A ball of lightning was wrapped in an eruption of air. Inside the ball of lightning was a small 5-inch seal. It was the Thunder Emperor seal. At this moment, the spacetime vortex was in chaos. If it had not caused the origin of the Luai's original realm to tremble, Su Fang would not have been able to detect the Thunder Emperor seal's existence. Suzhou Nuan naturally discovered the Thunder Emperor seal as well. He was both surprised and delighted. A Daozu from the Irontail race happened to be near the Thunder Emperor seal. Zhou Nua immediately shouted, "If you get the Thunder Emperor seal, I will reward you handsomely." The Daozu from the Iron Tail race had only just discovered the Thunder Emperor seal. He exploded with divine power, shattered the surrounding chaotic air shackles, and flew toward the Thunder Emperor seal. Position here. The space-time vortex made it difficult to use the teleportation technique. Su Fang was thousands of miles away from the Thunder Emperor seal. It was impossible for him to get the Thunder Emperor seal before the Daozu from the Iron Tail race. No, this was not a problem for Su Fang. Chi! 1. A blood vine as thick as an arm shot out from the palm of Su Fang's right hand. It pierced through the layers of shackles and flew toward the Thunder Emperor seal like a blood snake. The Daozu from the Iron Tail race disregarded everything and shattered the jets of air, sucking the Thunder Emperor seal into his hand. Unexpectedly, the blood vine pierced through the void and pierced through the head of the Daozu from the Iron Tail race. He died immediately, but his face was still filled with joy. Immediately after, the blood vine coiled around the Thunder Emperor seal. Just as the Thunder Emperor seal was about to be in his hand, a divine power of time suddenly descended and enveloped the Thunder Emperor seal. Originate was Zhou. He had activated the primordial heavenly treasure that looked like a jade scepter. It exploded with a powerful divine power of time. The heaven-piercing Blood King vine that was entangling the Thunder Emperor seal rapidly aged and withered under the terrifying power of time. In the end, it turned into ashes. Not only does this Thunder Emperor seal belong to me, but the Thunder Emperor seal on your body also belongs to me. Lord Xueling, kill him. I will help you suppress that divine beast. Zhou Nua said coldly. Nua Baki snorted coldly before charging straight for the Thunder Emperor seal. Xueling led more than 10 foreign race experts and surrounded Su Fang. Let's see if you have the ability to get the Thunder Emperor seal. Chapter 3246. Su Fang controlled the heaven-piercing Blood King Rattan and shot toward the Thunder Emperor seal. At the same time, he controlled the Rui Heavenly Dipper wheel to travel through the chaotic spacetime and landed on the Thunder Emperor seal. A space-distorting power erupted as he was about to teleport the Thunder Emperor seal away. Unexpectedly, a shadow of a claw suddenly tore through the spacetime and slashed at the Rui Heavenly Dipper wheel like a pair of sharp scissors. It tore the Rui Heavenly Dipper wheel apart and shattered the space-distorting power. Then, a Daozu expert from the Mayfly tribe tore through the spacetime turbulence and pounced on the Thunder Emperor seal. You're courting death! Su Fang shouted. Fang released his purple fate Dharma body and the spider at the same time. They ignored the shackles of the spacetime turbulence and attacked the Mayfly tribe expert. Both the purple fate Dharma body and the spider were illusory embodiments of fate. The space-time turbulence could not shackle them. Chi. The spider spat out a white mist of nothingness and rolled out. The purple fate Dharma body also displayed a supreme principle that could seize the fortune of heaven and earth. It shrouded the Mayfly tribe expert and crazily seized his fate, causing him to fall into an inescapable calamity. The white mist spat out by the spider seeped into the Mayfly tribe expert's body, causing his physical body to deteriorate and deteriorate. The Mayfly tribe expert roared and screamed, but he could not escape from the loss of his fate. At this time, another airflow erupted and hit the Thunder Emperor seal, dragging it into the depths of the turbulent whirlpool. This Thunder Emperor seal is mine, Zhou said. Excitement flashed in Nua's eyes. He activated the Jade Scepter and unleashed the power of time. It froze the Thunder Emperor seal and the surrounding spacetime. Then, he rushed toward the Thunder Emperor seal. Su Fang was anxious. When he was about to rush over, the Blood Jia clan expert, Xueling, appeared and blocked Su Fang's path. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. 15 Daozu experts flew over from the surroundings. Su Fang shouted. Fang shouted angrily and rushed toward Xueling. Human ant, prepare to die. Blood-condensing butterfly technique. Xueling separated his hands. Blood and thoughts gushed out from his palms like a tide. In an instant, they condensed into a large pool of viscous blood. It was filled with an astonishing aura of death and hostility. It wriggled and rolled toward Su Fang. The boiling speed of the blood seemed slow, but in fact it was astonishingly fast. It was like a raging wave rolling towards Su Fang. Blood coagulation butterfly technique? Su Fang's eyebrows furrowed, and a look of dread appeared in his eyes. During the Heavenly Struggle Conference, Su Fang had seen the blood-congealing butterfly technique. Here this was an evil and powerful ability of the Blood Jia clan. The Blood Jia clan would use their blood to trap their enemies, devour their enemies, then break out of the cocoon and transform into an extremely evil and powerful blood butterfly. However, during the Heavenly Scramble Conference, it took the self-detonation of more than a dozen puppets to barely execute the blood-congealing butterfly technique. At this moment, Xueling, a peak-level powerful being from Daozu of the Blood Jia clan, was more than 10,000 times more powerful. Even if you have the longevity lamp, you won't be able to break my blood-congealing butterfly technique. I'm going to turn you into a blood butterfly and make you my puppet. After the blood tide, Xueling's evil and smug voice sounded. Great return to ruins technique. Su Fang didn't hide his strength anymore. His qi, thoughts, and will condensed into a chaotic mirror in front of him. Mirror. The chaotic Xian Guang in the mirror surged wildly, and a supreme will of the heavenly way and great Tao that could destroy and end everything was brewing and churning in the mirror. What kind of ability is this? How can it be so terrifying? The Daozu of the alien clan sensed the aura of the great return to ruins technique, and their Taoist hearts all trembled. Mirror. The destructive will and great Tao in the mirror brewed to the extreme, and suddenly, the aura changed drastically. Boom. A will and great Tao that could create and evolve all things, and the heavenly way exploded from the mirror. After destruction and end, it was creation and evolution. The other side of the great return to ruins technique was creation. Great creation technique. Chaos. A chaotic light beam shot out from the mirror. Wherever it went, the chaotic space-time turned into a chaotic state. The blood tide was instantly shattered and evaporated. Blood. Xueling's light changed instantly, and he roared angrily. The primordial heavenly treasure, blood transformation divine mirror, appeared in front of him and blocked the light beam. Bang. No. As expected of the primordial heavenly treasure, it actually neutralized most of the power of Su Fang's great creation technique. However, Xueling was still affected, and he was sent flying along with the blood transformation divine mirror. His body from the waist down was wiped out, and only the top half was left. The primordial heavenly treasure was intact, but its blood-red light dimmed, and its aura weakened. More than a dozen Daozu of the alien clan were affected by the divine power of the collision. Among them, 5 Daozu elites, including a peak Daozu elite, were directly turned into ashes by the aftershock. Their Daozu of the alien clan were also sent flying, and they were all severely injured. The power of the great origin-ending art and great creation art that Su Fang created was so domineering. Sizzle Xueling activated his blood qi and quickly reformed the lower half of his body. He looked unscathed, but his aura was weakened and his vitality was greatly damaged. He was shocked by Su Fang's supreme superpower, and he did not dare to stop Su Fang. He took back the blood transformation divine mirror, turned around and left without hesitation. Su Fang staggered and his face turned pale. His aura also became much weaker. Using the great return to ruins technique and great creation technique consumed Su Fang's willpower, primordial qi, and thoughts at an alarming rate. He grabbed a handful of elixirs and swallowed them. At the same time, he activated the heaven-piercing Blood King Vine to devour the blood pigs in the Doctrine Palace. Then, he forcefully teleported toward the Thunder Emperor seal. However, it was too late. Just while Su Fang and Xueling were fighting, Zhou Nua had already arrived in front of the Thunder Emperor seal. He waved his hand and grabbed the Thunder Emperor seal. Zhou Zhona looked at Su Fang and said proudly, "Su Fang, this Thunder Emperor seal belongs to me." Unknown, at the next moment, an old and dignified voice came from the depths of the whirlpool. "A bunch of ants. Have you had enough?" Chi. Chi. A streak of red light broke through the air. The chaotic spacetime, and the time-stop power released by Zhou Nua's Jade Scepter could not stop it at all. Chi. The red light instantly appeared in front of Zhou Nua and rolled up in his hand. Zhou Nua's right hand, which was holding the Thunder Emperor seal, instantly turned into ashes. The red light turned into a ball of fire and enveloped the Thunder Emperor seal. Zhou Nua screamed and could only watch as the Thunder Emperor seal in his hand was swept away by the flames. That divine bird has escaped. The Thunder Emperor seal is in the divine bird's hands. What should we do? Su Fang thought. His heart suddenly sank. The situation he did not want to see the most had happened. If the Thunder Emperor seal was in Zhou Nua's hands, there was still a way to snatch it back. Now, if it was in the hands of a divine bird that was comparable to an immortal, it would be good enough to escape alive. How could they snatch it back? He did not expect that the end result would be like this. No one would be able to get the Thunder Emperor seal. Chang Life Lamp suddenly spoke in the Taoist palace. "Master, that divine bird has not completely broken the seal. Master, there is still hope." Su Fang sighed helplessly. "Even if it has not completely broken the seal, how can I enter the depths of the whirlpool and get the Thunder Emperor seal? Hateful, really hateful." Zhou Nua gritted his teeth. The Thunder Emperor seal that was so close to being in his hands was snatched away in the end. How could he not be angry? Chang He did not care much about the injury on his hand. "Lord Xueling, let's join forces and suppress that divine beast." Zhou Nua transmitted his thoughts to Xueling. Xueling replied, "That divine beast is very powerful. It is definitely not something that Daozu can suppress. Moreover, I am seriously injured now. It is impossible to suppress that powerful divine beast. Young Prince Zhou Nua, forget it. There was no other way. They could not get the Thunder Emperor seal even if they joined forces." Zhou Nua looked at Su Fang and said in a low voice, "Su Fang." Su Fang smiled indifferently. "Why? Do you still want to kill me?" Zhou Nua snorted. "The Thunder Emperor seal is now in the hands of that divine beast. If we don't get the Thunder Emperor seal, it will be difficult for either of us to complete the test of the fifth heaven in the original realm of Luais. When the time comes, it will be difficult for us to escape death." Su Fang said, "What are you trying to say?" "I will join forces with you to take back the Thunder Emperor seal from that divine beast. I still have a one-instant eternity talisman in my hands. Together with your strength and the primordial heavenly treasure, we may have a chance to take back the Thunder Emperor seal." "Join forces with you?" Su Fang frowned. It seemed that the only way now was to join forces with Zhou Nua. "A group of lowly ants. Not only do you want to steal my treasure, but you also want to suppress me. You really don't know what is good for you. Even if I have not completely broken the seal, killing you will be as easy as flipping my hand." The divine bird's contemptuous voice came from the depths of the whirlpool. Boom, boom, boom. The spatial whirlpool began to shake violently once again, setting off waves of space-time wind. It shook Su Fang and all the other foreign race elites out of the whirlpool. Whoosh! A streak of red light soared into the sky and quickly transformed into a gigantic divine phoenix projection that spanned over 100,000 feet. Although it was just a shadow, but it exuded an ancient and domineering aura. Its terrifying willpower instantly shrouded the entire shattered space-time. Under the willpower of the divine phoenix, Su Fang, Xueling, and the other peak foreign race elites of the Daozu trembled. They felt as if they had fallen into a boundless sea of fire. Their willpower and souls were burning. Immortal! It is actually an immortal-level divine phoenix. Xueling looked at the divine phoenix shadow. His eyes were filled with fear and reverence. Puff, 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 puff. 3 of the weaker Daozu's willpower collapsed under the pressure of the divine phoenix. Their entire bodies began to burn fiercely, and they were instantly reduced to ashes. Time Zhou Nua used all his strength to activate the Jade Scepter. He relied on the power of the primordial heavenly treasure to barely protect his Dao heart and willpower. Blood Ling gritted his teeth and shouted, "Stop! I am from the Blood Jia clan. Except for this human cultivator, the other cultivators are all from clans with immortal level experts. If you dare to kill us, you will be hunted down by the immortal level experts." Zhou Nua also said, "I am from the Tensei people, and I am the next successor of the Tensei people. If you kill me, my clan will not spare you." "Humph. Fine, I will spare your lives this time. Get out." The divine phoenix shadow snorted coldly. It flapped its wings and set off a spacetime storm. It rushed to the highest point of the shattered spacetime, forming a torrent that led to the endless spacetime. Go! Chapter 3247. Zhou Nua and Su Fang had no intention of leaving. They remained where they were. This, if the Thunder Emperor seal was left here, it meant that both of them had failed. Failure meant death. How could they just leave like that? The divine bird looked at Zhou Nua and said in a voice filled with killing intent, "I spared you because you are from the Tensei people. Yet you are still here. Do you really think that I don't dare to kill you? If you really want to die, I can fulfill your wish." Zhou Nua cupped his fists and looked at the divine bird. He said sincerely, "The Thunder Emperor seal that you took away is very important to me. I am willing to pay a sufficient price to exchange it with you. I hope that you can fulfill my wish. The Tensei people are one of the higher races in the chaos. They do not lack treasures. Phoenixes naturally liked treasures. Zhou Nua was also catering to their interests." Shun the bird snorted. "Treasures? I like treasures the most. The treasures of the Tensei people must be extraordinary." Su Fang's heart sank. No. However, he soon felt relieved. Thunder Emperor seal. The Thunder Emperor seal was naturally much better in Zhou Nua's hands than in the hands of that powerful divine bird. At least there was still hope for him to get it back. Zhou Nua's eyes flashed with a bright light. "What kind of treasures do you want, Lord?" Shin the bird shook its head and said, "Of course I want treasures. Unfortunately, I have already agreed to give the Thunder Emperor seal to someone else. So, even if you take out the primordial heavenly treasure, I can't agree to it." Zhou Nua was shocked. "Give it to someone else? Who does Lord intend to give the Thunder Emperor seal to?" Whoosh! Another divine phoenix flew out from the depths of the whirlpool. This divine phoenix was much smaller than the divine phoenix phantom. It was obviously a female bird. Right, it was the divine phoenix that entered the divine sycamore race's broken spacetime when the chaos tide erupted. Whoosh! The divine phoenix waved its hand, and a scarlet xian guang flew toward Su Fang. Inside the xian guang was a 5-inch square seal. It was the Thunder Emperor seal. Su Fang was shocked and stunned. Whirl! He was pleasantly surprised and grabbed the Thunder Emperor seal without hesitation. Sensing. It was indeed the Thunder Emperor seal. Su Fang was overjoyed and sucked the Thunder Emperor seal into the Dao Palace. The 3 Thunder Emperor seals were mysteriously obtained just like that. Yunua was surprised and furious. He shouted at the illusory image of the male bird, "My lord, what is the meaning of this?" Su Fang was also puzzled. With the foreign race elites had fought a great battle, yet they had not been able to obtain the Thunder Emperor seal. Yet now, it had been given to him on its own accord. How could he not be puzzled? The illusory male bird snorted and said, "That human cultivator once saved my lover's life. I'll give him this Thunder Emperor seal to settle the karma between us." Fang was suddenly enlightened. Dang, did Chu-yi save the one that had just died? A reborn divine phoenix was as easy as lifting a finger. No, it occurred to him. He had never imagined that he would unexpectedly obtain such a great benefit. It seemed like there was a predestined fate that this lightning emperor seal would belong to Su Fang. Zhou Nua gritted his teeth. He had worked so hard for nothing, yet in the end, Su Fang had obtained the Thunder Emperor seal so easily. How could he not be angry? Humph! I'll leave the Lightning Emperor seal with you for the time being. When the time comes, I'll take it all back. Everything that you've done now is nothing more than a wedding dress for me. Zhou Nua looked at Su Fang as traces of coldness seeped out from his eyes. The illusory male bird said in a majestic voice, "Why aren't you leaving?" "Thank you." Fang cupped his fists at the two divine phoenixes and then activated the origin of the Thunder Lake original realm. He released an aura and disappeared into nothingness. A moment later, after a series of thunderous roars, lightning surged and quickly condensed into a heavenly gate. A burst of divine might erupted and sucked Su Fang and Zhou Nua into it. Thunder Emperor seal. The Thunder Lake original realm was so shocking. Even in this shattered spacetime, one could sense the origin aura of the Thunder Lake original realm and directly make the heavenly gate appear in the shattered spacetime. Human race cultivator, congratulations on obtaining another Thunder Emperor seal, Su Fang said. As soon as he appeared in the fourth heaven of the Thunder Lake original realm, Realm Spirit's figure quickly condensed in front of him and said to Su Fang with a smile. After sensing for a while, he realized that Zhou Nua had disappeared. He must have been transported to another space in the fourth heaven. Luck, it's pure luck this time. Su Fang shook his head and smiled. It was indeed lucky to obtain the third Thunder Emperor seal. Realm Spirit smiled embarrassedly and said, "There are still 2 more Thunder Emperor seals. I'm afraid you won't be able to obtain them with luck alone." Su Fang fell silent and felt a huge pressure. Why? The remaining 2 Thunder Emperor seals were in the hands of 2 immortal realm experts of the chaotic race. It was difficult to obtain the 2 Thunder Emperor seals by relying on luck and strength. Realm Spirit said, "You can rob, steal, or cheat. No matter what, you have to obtain the 2 Thunder Emperor seals." Su Fang asked, "There are a total of 5 Thunder Emperor seals. If Zhou Nua and I can't obtain all 5, who will win and who will lose?" "The 5 Thunder Emperor seals are used to unlock the seal of the 5th heaven. If you can't obtain all 5, there will be no winner. Both sides will be losers. The result of losing is naturally a failure of the test. Only those with 5 Thunder Emperor seals can enter the 5th heaven. This is the rule of the Thunder Lake original realm. I can't change it." Realm Spirit's words made Su Fang's heart sink. Realm Spirit continued, "The remaining 2 Thunder Emperor seals are in the hands of 2 immortal realm experts. The Tensei People's Juniors can obtain them with the Tensei People's strength. However, you don't have any strength to help you. This is obviously unfair to you. However, how can there be fairness in this world?" Realm Spirit's words were indeed correct. Apart from strength and strength, how can there be fairness in this world? I will try my best to fight for the 2 immortal realm experts. If I can't obtain them, Su Fang's eyes flashed coldly. If I can't obtain them, I will kill Zhou Nua and snatch them from him. Don't forget, the Tensei People's Juniors can also snatch the 3 Thunder Emperor seals from you. However, you can rest assured that you are now one of the chosen inheritors of the Thunder Lake original realm. Restricted by the rules of the Eternal Shrine, the Immortal Realm experts won't attack you. This way, I still have a chance. Su Fang's heart calmed down. As long as the Immortal Realm experts didn't attack him, few below the Immortal Realm could threaten him. His chances of obtaining the Thunder Emperor seals would be greater. Realm Spirit continued, "The remaining 2 Thunder Emperor seals are in the Qian Yuan race and the Star race. Which race do you want to go to first?" Su Fang thought for a while and said, "Sir, please send me to the Ice Soul Saint clan first." The Thunder Lake original realm was a world created by the ethereal heavenly Tao. It could transcend the shackles of time and space and go from the Thunder Lake original realm to any time and space in the chaos. This was also the strength of the Thunder Lake original realm. The Ice Soul Saint clan? Realm Spirit was dazed and immediately understood. Although the Ice Soul Saint clan is not a higher race, they have an Immortal Realm expert. You want the Immortal Realm expert to help you get the Thunder Emperor seals, right? Su Fang said, the human race is weak. They are not qualified to talk to the stronger races. It is impossible for me to meet the Immortal Realm expert. I can only ask the Immortal Realm expert for help. However, if I want to get the 2 Thunder Emperor seals, I have to rely on myself. I will send you to the Ice Soul Saint clan now. Realm Spirit nodded and activated a godly power to send Su Fang to the Ice Soul Saint clan's space and time. Zhou Nua was sucked into the 4th level of the Thunder Lake original realm. After waiting for a long time, Realm Spirit slowly appeared. Junior of the Tensei people, where are you going next? Realm Spirit asked indifferently. Zhou Nua smiled coldly and said, the Heaven Origin race, the Starry Sky race. These 2 races are the higher races among the 10,000 races in the primal chaos. Let's see how Su Fang is going to obtain these 2 Thunder Emperor seals. Realm Spirit poured cold water on him mercilessly. Junior of the Tensei people, don't forget that even if you get the remaining 2 Thunder Emperor seals with the power of the Tensei people, Su Fang has the other 3. You will fail the test. Su Fang's 3 Thunder Emperor seals will be mine in the end. Zhou Nua's face was filled with resentment. Lord Realm Spirit, send me to the Tensei people. Zhou Nua's intention was obvious. He wanted to use the power of the Tensei people to get the remaining 2 Thunder Emperor seals from the Heaven Origin race and the Starry Sky race. Rumble! Su Fang flashed out from the lightning and appeared in the sky above the Ice Soul Holy Clan's huge ice field. After so many years, Xuanxin should have improved a lot. He should be at least in the Dao Profound realm now. Fang projected his senses. Who knew that in the Ice Soul Holy region, he could not sense Xuanxin's aura or Ancestor Snow's presence. They were not in the Ice Soul Holy Clan. Whoosh! Whoosh! 2 figures teleported over. They were the 2 great Daozu of the Ice Soul Holy Clan, the Holy Soul Daozu and the Holy Spirit Daozu. Who dares to barge into my Ice Soul Holy region? Human cultivator, it's you? The Holy Spirit Daozu recognized Su Fang and was surprised. You have indeed advanced to Daozu, and your aura, the Holy Soul Daozu's divine light, rolled on Su Fang's body. His expression changed instantly. Su Fang had not only advanced to Daozu, the upper echelons of the Ice Soul Holy Clan had already known about it. Now that they saw it with their own eyes, the Ice Soul Holy Clan was shocked. What shocked him even more was Su Fang's aura. He could not help but revere him and feel great pressure, as if he was facing an undying being. Saint the Holy Spirit Daozu's divine light changed instantly. Shock and fear appeared in his deep eyes. Holy Soul, bring the guests to see this seat. A dignified, old voice suddenly sounded. Yes, Ultimate Being. The Holy Spirit Daozu replied respectfully. The Holy Spirit Daozu was shocked again. Apart with an undying being of the same level, the Ultimate Being had never received an outsider at his place of cultivation. He actually allowed Su Fang to come to his place of cultivation. This showed how much he valued Su Fang, treating him like an undying being of the same level. Su Fang, the ultimate being of the Holy Clan, invites you. The Holy Spirit Daozu said politely. Then, he led him into the depths of the Ice Soul Holy region. Wei.